where we talk about all the latest in pop culture news, TV and movie reviews, gaming news, and just the general conversations of the day. For those who don't know me, I'm Price of Reason, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Professor Artoo. How's it going, Professor?
Oh, it's going. We're here.
Yep.
It's going better than my actual job.
Yes, you told me. You told me that you have
yes,
this.
I told Price
today.
earlier. Yes, for anyone involved in education, you would have heard about it, or anyone involved in cybersecurity. There was a huge cyber attack on a very big learning management system called Canvas. It's used by thousands of universities and high schools and other elementary schools and stuff. Big attack today, and ooh, boy, has it caused a mess. So it has not been a fun day for me. And in fact, I was giving a test when the attack happened, and some students were not able to finish their tests. So that's going to be a real mess to clean up later. But
it sounds like every teacher's nightmare. But yeah,
it's a disaster. But we'll figure it out.
Speaking of nightmares, what was I going to say?
Speaking of nightmares, I forgot.
Welcome to the Night Owl. Yes,
I forgot my nightmare. This is a thing. It's a nightmare thing.
Well,
Speaking of nightmares, there's Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill. He's such an idiot.
Oh, jeez, what a cornball! I swear, just.
No, we'll get to Mark
there.
Hamill
We'll get to old Mark a little bit later.
I want to say that somebody wrote to us in one of our streams, did like a comment and said, "Hey, how come you guys never address any? You haven't been talking about politics lately. You didn't talk about like more world events and things like that." And the reason why we did a little less of that recently is that, and I answered the guy that it just felt kind of repetitive. You know, if we want to cover, let's say, something like like a war with Iran or whatever, that just seems to be like some weird repetitive thing. Every day you hear something else, and I'm not really sure what's going on with it. So I don't know how many streams we can dedicate. Obviously, if there's a big development, that's something that, you know, we would address. But just like Trump saying, like, we destroyed all their ships, all their ships are in the ocean. Like, I get it, but
yep. And then the Iranians coming back. We sank 2 American destroyers because we're amazing, and all of our oil is getting through their blockade.
They didn't sink any destroyers, though. They just
no.
It's such a bizarre thing that these guys. There's something. It's beyond just even like a conflict. It's irritating that they go out and just like say this nonsense. You know what I mean? We destroy 70 U.S. planes. You didn't destroy 70 U.S. planes. You know, it's just like, I understand that like it's supposedly like a psychological thing, but honestly, they could claim. Basically, I'll tell you this: they're counting on the fact that nobody wants to go in there like Vietnam. You don't want to send tons of boots on the ground there. And that's what they're counting on. And they're just thinking to themselves, if we can continue to just say all this nonsense and wait it out, maybe they'll just leave. You know what I mean? Like that's what they're counting on. They don't want the ground troops. And the truth is that we don't really want to send ground troops either. So that's why there's sort of an impasse. But Trump, they don't want the ground troops, and they figure nobody really wants to send them here either. So that's our edge here. And at the same time, Trump is saying, well, you guys don't have any army. We can just destroy you in 5 seconds. And he's not wrong either. So it's something of an impasse. I do hope that at the end resolution is reached, but I don't know. I mean, this whole situation that, you know, he's even doing this thing that he's not letting, that he did his own blockade or whatever it is causing financial damage to Iran. Every day that goes by, they do lose more and more money. He is doing something. I don't know how long. Maybe they don't care and they can continue to lose a ton of money, but I'm sure they're feeling it in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah. I mean, have there been things happening politically? Yes. I mean, and are we? Is Iran feeling, you know, the the stuff that Trump is doing, yeah, I'm certain that they are. There's plenty of people here in the U.S. Who would like to sabotage Trump and support Iran. That's for sure. But I don't know, man. It doesn't feel like that's anything that's really been all that interesting to talk about. Kind of like
No,
you
not
said, like,
recently.
and
Again,
there's there's a lot of other things that have been happening politically that I don't know. Like, would we really have all that much to say? Gerrymandering, Price. What do you have to say about gerrymandering?
yeah, it's stuff that, we wanna talk about things in general. We like talking also if there's big political stories. Obviously, when there was that thing that happened, an attempt on Trump at the correspondence dinner, obviously that's something that we'd address. And when conflict starts, or if there's some kind of ceasefire, things like that we mention. But to every day cover, like, again, what they went back and forth saying, it just doesn't. It feels kind of counterproductive. And yeah, I'm also kind of tired of these same kind of Republicans that don't like Trump, that are whining about him all day. You know what I'm saying? Those kind of
Oh
they
yes.
more like they're Democrats, but they keep, I don't even know.
And then all of the constant drumbeat of release the Island Man files.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just, yeah. Again, how many years can I hear about the Island Man? Personally, it's like I already understood where this whole thing was going years ago. I don't think it's going to go anywhere else now. And the only thing that I'll say is that, and this is just my personal opinion. It's not. I don't have any proof one way or another. I don't know. It's just my own instinct saying it. I don't think that Trump. I think that if there was anything in those island files to put on Trump, I think it would have already been done that. And
Absolutely.
the other idea that another country has the file, and that's why Trump is doing what the other country wants, also dumb in my opinion, because I'll tell you why. If let's say Trump doesn't do what you want, and they release like the file, uh, th- they would get. Let's say they release the files and all that stuff, and then theoretically this is all true. I'm doing a tinfoil now. I don't believe it, but I'm pretending it's all true. Let's say they would release it. In that case, he would step down, and who would be the president? Vance. Vance isn't friendly to a lot of other countries. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Meaning, meaning that again, another counterproductive situation. Like, I don't believe that there is anything there with him that anybody could do anything with. I think this is all nonsense. But even if there was, which I don't believe there is, even then, somebody rolling it out and doing whatever people are claiming they could do would also probably be stupid. You know what I mean? Just my 2 cents. This was
Yeah.
very kind of, I'm trying to steer away from all the things and just give them the abstract idea, but, do you get what I'm trying to say, Professor?
Sure. Sure.
So, all I'm saying is that there's so many things that don't make sense, and I think, I don't know the guy well. I've never, met him or anything. I don't think I've ever streamed with him, but I saw Razorfist once do, like, a tweet that he's like he wrote something like, "Trump is, he likes the mustache man, and he is the mustache man, but he also likes you know, but he also likes Israel, but he answers to Russia." And
Yes.
like he wrote this
Yeah.
whole thing, and I was just chuckling because like all of the narratives that people paste on him don't even, they conflict with each other. Like all the people that are sort of conjuring up narratives with him and why he does stuff, the narratives don't even work hand in hand. They're all conflicting narratives. So
Yeah.
somebody has to be wrong in all of these different things.
Well, this is yeah. No, finish up. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, and I will say this, that at the end of the day, and this is just my theory, I think Trump is just a guy that does whatever Trump wants. I don't think that anybody makes Trump do anything. I think that he gets up, feels like doing something, and does it. That's who he is. That's, I think, what he's been his whole life, and that's what he is now. Now, you could say maybe that you don't like what he does, or it's impulsive, or you don't agree with him, but I don't think that anybody is actually telling him what to do. It's also his second term. You know what I mean? He doesn't need, to get any more voters for another term. This is it. This is his second term. I think he's doing exactly the thing that he wants to do now. And for whatever it's worth, and this, you could look back at videos for years, he's always been consistent about this Iran thing. Like you see videos from like 1980 and he's saying the same thing that he's saying now. So I think that that's what he wanted. Now you can say you don't like the decision, or you're against what he did, and that's also a fair discussion. You could say whatever you want, and I can't. everybody is entitled to their own opinion, but I don't know. I'm so tired of hearing so much nonsense from so many different directions and so many different narratives that sometimes that's exhausting.
Yeah, it does get exhausting. Pretty 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 quickly actually. Just constantly.
Tim Hayes says maybe he did that to get the big beautiful bill passed. Maybe, I don't know. I can't tell you. Obviously in politics there's always wheeling and dealing. It's always been that way, and there's still a lot of wheeling and dealing now. To tell you that I know 100% why one would do one thing or another thing, I can't really tell you. But I don't know. Every he to me he seems like a guy that does whatever he feels like doing. That's the only thing that I'll say.
Yeah, and if you go back to this kind of a feeling like, well, yeah, he's the mustache man, except he's controlled by
Right,
Israel,
exactly.
and all this, like, if you go back, that kind of thinking has been around for a long time. If you go back, I was having a conversation with someone the other day. They were talking about how nobody had this anything before Trump derangement syndrome. I said, BS. You don't remember Bush derangement syndrome? The people who are absolutely just out of their brains, of course, on the left, just hating Bush while he was in office, and all the things that they threw at him, and the completely contradictory thoughts they had to hold in their head that on one hand he is this incredible mastermind who engineered 9/11 and did all of these other things to seize power in our country, and then in the other hand he's a bumbling idiot who can't tie his shoes. Like, which one is it? Which one is it?
A lot of good questions.
Mad super genius or bumbling idiot? You have to pick one. Okay.
Exactly. Phantom Monk, if I see you in the chat, I just test out to see you've been added to moderators. Hopefully it'll work for you. So if you're here, Phantom Monk, then check it out. By the way, we have 2 people watching us on Twitch and 1 person on local. Something that we're very, very thrilled about. The local on locals, and you always say he doesn't exist, but it's going to turn out that there's a guy on locals.
One of these days, there will be a person there.
Yeah. So basically, I guess that's why I don't talk about it every second. But I wanted to address it because it was a legitimate thing that somebody reached out, somebody that watches our show and has been for a very long time, and they're like, "Wow, could you talk more about all the political stuff?" And there, obviously, if there's something important we want to talk about it, it's just like I said, to continue to go in circles. I will say this, that a lot of these people, and I've said, I feel almost vindicated a little bit here, and not that I've invented the wheel here. We've said for a while, without getting into the names of these kind of quote unquote influencers and podcasters, that they've always presented themselves in the past like year or two as so America, they love America and all this stuff, and they make themselves like they're they pretend they're like conservatives or whatever it is, and at the end they you could tell that this is not what they are. There's been more talk over the past few days that some of them act more like they're part of the left, or not even part of the left, but leftists, like hard left. You know what I'm saying? There's some people that are supposed to be like
Yeah.
right-wing podcasters, but they're saying things that could come out of the mouth of like Elon Omar. So once that happens, I really have nothing to say about that or pay attention there either. I mean, we've addressed it that there's this kind of nonsense for a while, and I'll say another thing, and I don't want to get into names, but the other day I was looking at something where let's say there's a podcaster that's very well known, that you always hear about, that's doing all these quote unquote sensational things and has all this criticism about Trump and the government and all this stuff, and says all these kind of loony theories or whatever. At the end you look, and this person's following, and I'm not kidding, this is true, a giant portion of this person's following is people like in India. Do you get what I'm saying? Like
Oh yeah,
this person that's
no
talking about
question.
America all the time, you look and like, and this is not, it's not me inventing it. You actually research this. A lot of people are listening to this person. They're like, look at the numbers, look at the numbers. And at the end, it's like, yeah, there's a lot of people in India. And I guess if they listen to this podcast, then that person will have a lot of numbers, but who gives a shit? You know what I mean? I've been to India. I like, I like the place. I've met some nice people there and I genuinely enjoyed my time there. But that doesn't mean that I think that they, should influence or know what's going on in America. Uh, and that's if I'm being generous, because it could also be a situation where there's something a bit more, dare say, malicious going on. If you know what I mean,
Hmm.
like a farm of people in India. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, could be. If you've ever seen the pictures of the of the engagement farms where there's hundreds, thousands of phones just sitting on a platform and they're
Yep.
all being controlled by a computer. Yeah.
I'll tell you this. I'm going to be careful here. Many years ago, I may or may not have done a test. This is like it's a different platform. It's something else that I tried once, and I went to like how you have Fiverr.
Sure.
And there was suddenly like I ran into something where somebody was like, for $5 you'll have like 500 followers or whatever it is. And I was so curious. It was something that it's not something that I even used for anything. It was more almost just intriguing. It was like an experiment, you know what I mean? And you give the person $5, and sure enough, a few seconds later you had 500 followers. Now mind you, those 500 followers are not worth anything. It is the biggest piece of crap ever, but that did happen. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like stuff like that exists. If you research, there's things that you go and like, you pay somebody money and suddenly you'll have like a bunch of followers. Now, mind
Oh
you,
yes.
this is not healthy. If you ever like really do like let's say a YouTube and you care about it, never do that. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah,
Like,
no, that I actually was involved in a channel at one point where it was obvious that there were bots being purchased, viewers being purchased for that stream, because it's like one day the stream has like an average of maybe has a couple hundred people, and then all of a sudden there's almost 600 people in the chat, or 600 people, viewers, right? But the actual engagement in the chat, exactly the same. Nothing changed, right? It was
right.
the exact same people, the exact same level of engagement, but suddenly, oh look, there's all these extra followers and there's all these extra viewers who are watching it, and it's obvious when that kind of thing happens. It's
And I'll
and
tell you,
it's
and I'm
not
telling you,
healthy for the channel.
I tend to think that like maybe 10, 15 years ago on YouTube when you did stuff like that, if you did it, I think you had more of a shot of doing it without the systems picking up on it. I don't really know because I didn't really do YouTube then, but I think that maybe back in the day there were probably ways of like doing different maneuvers. But over time, and I can only say that from the time that I was doing anything on YouTube, you don't want to do that. If you do that, you're significantly hurting anything you do, not to mention that it also could pick it up, like it's something that the system could pick up, but in addition to the system picking it up, it's just something you don't want to do because you don't have real followers, so no algorithm could really understand who's following you and why and who's watching your videos because it's all kind of staged, you know what I'm saying?
Oh yes.
So I'm 100% not recommending this. I'm just saying that years ago, and I'm talking a good amount of years ago, probably maybe at this point I would say 10 years ago, I did just an experiment, not on these platforms and anything that I'm on now. I'm not going to say which one it was, but I went to Fiverr. Fiverr said this thing, and then I gave the $5, and that did happen. So if nothing else, I at least knew one thing: if somebody, let's say, has $1 million, imagine what they can do. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like there's probably ways of doing, and let's put it this way: with $1 million, you're probably buying something that like it seems like these are active accounts. There's probably companies out there that do this in a way that looks more legit. Do you get what I mean?
Oh, yes.
They're not the $5 people on Fiverr, if you understand what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I'm not saying that that any of those kind of podcasters that suddenly have an audience in India are all connected to that. I'm just saying that it's strange that they keep talking about American politics, yet so much of their audience is in India. Anyhow, I
Yep.
don't know how we got to all of this. This was like
Oh,
a
we're just talking about all sorts of different stuff. Yeah,
very
there was,
dark
I mean,
turn.
a weird news thing, stuff going on, like, political stuff, but it's just so boring talking about. I don't want to talk about redistricting. Okay, well, they redistricted
They
Tennessee today.
redistricted. Yeah,
Oh,
that's not
yay.
sexy. Who
Okay,
cares?
so I mean, it's just funny because it's like, there's these people. I mean, I will say one crazy thing. Did you see any of that coverage today of the redistricting thing that did happen in Tennessee?
I keep seeing something, but then I click on it and they didn't redistrict, and then I don't know what. And then
Yeah, so Tennessee is one that they did, and they followed the rules. So with the funny thing is that recently they had the thing where it happened in Virginia, right, where they put it on the ballot and whatever. But then it came out pretty quickly. It was taken to court, and the court ruled against it. Said they couldn't count the votes. They couldn't certify the election because they didn't follow procedure. They didn't get everything done right. And so this whole push to redistrict Virginia basically has gone up in smoke because they didn't follow the rules. They didn't do it right. There was all sorts of rules about how they had to handle this sort of a thing, and they didn't follow them. They just tried to rush it through, and the courts have smacked them down for it. So it looks like probably that in Virginia is not going to go through. Florida is going through, and they're saying they're going to redistrict now. Tennessee did theirs today, basically redistricting to where there will not be a single Democrat probably elected in that state, and everyone is screaming about. There was literally screaming. There was a member of the legislature there in Tennessee who was like screaming and yelling stuff. A black man screaming, and yelling stuff about racist, whatever, and he had to be restrained and whatever. But it's hilarious because they're saying, well, they've eliminated this district for black people. Well, basically what the Supreme Court has said was, well, you're not supposed to district based on race, right? District based on population, whatever, but not on race. And the funniest thing is that particular district, they're saying, oh, well, that was this majority black district. Do you know who was representing him?
Who?
He wasn't black. He's a crusty old bald white man who was representing there in that district. So I mean, it's absurd, right? It's so crazy. All of this stuff going on. So the redistricting stuff is a little wild. But it's just not all that interesting to talk about.
Yeah,
It's
it isn't. It isn't
procedural stuff. Yay.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. In any case, speaking of all of this, amidst all of the kind of stuff that's annoying and repetitive, like what we talked about, I did happen to find a story that I thought was somewhat interesting, which is whatever's going on. And I also have a very strange connection. I don't have a connection to this story. I think that would be very generous to say that, but I do feel a personal connection to it, and I'll explain why. So right now in California, you have this kind of I guess they have two rounds. They have one round now with three people that did this debate for the mayoral race in Los Angeles, where you have that councilwoman, whatever her name is. You have the existing incumbent mayor Karen Bass, who's just in my opinion, an awful mayor, and then you have Spencer Pratt, who's running against her, and he sort of is just sort of you know I think he's making some waves, and I think he's interesting. Did you hear about this whole thing with Spencer Pratt?
Yeah, and in fact, they tried to lock him out of the election there. They tried to say he didn't live in L.A. because guess what? His house burned down
Right.
in the LA fires. Guess who hasn't rebuilt his home yet because there's too many regulations and rules and all sorts of certifications and stuff that he can't manage to get through so that he could live there. Yeah, same guy. Yeah. They
Right.
tried to say he didn't live in LA County because his home burned down.
Yep. And And let me see if I can find if there was something I can find. I had a clip from the debate. Basically, this guy, Spencer Pratt, I didn't really think much of him when he said he was running, but the more I see of what he's doing, I think he's doing a pretty decent job with his campaign until now.
Yes, he is, and in that debate, frankly, he pretty much destroyed the other two candidates who were there.
So this is something that I think he was. Let me see here. This was one thing that I thought I want to share a few clips. And then I'll tell you the personal connection I have with Spencer Pratt. This is a very weak connection, right? But I'll explain it in a second.
It's from that time you had a drink with Heidi Montag, right?
Not exactly, but I'll explain it in a second. So
Okay.
let's see if what the volume is. Okay, and I'll put this.
How many beds you give these people, they are on super meth. They are on fentanyl. The DEA statistic says 93% of this is a drug addiction problem. Nithya, Councilwoman Robin's plan for treatment first, I will go below the Harbor Freeway tomorrow with her, and we can find some of these people she's going to offer treatment for. She's going to get stabbed in the neck. These people do not want a bed. They want fentanyl or super meth. These ideas cost us over $400 million to house for 70, what did you say, 3,000 people for $400 million? This is an absolute failure for both of them. They're a team.
I thought that was pretty good, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also this thing that he did.
Where you live.
I thought that this was a pretty good ad that he did a while back.
This is where Mayor Bass lives.
Yeah, it's a good commercial.
Or here, where Nithya Raman's $3 million mansion sits. They don't have to live in the mess they've created where you live. This is where I live. They let my home burn down. I know what the consequences of failed leadership are. That's why I'm running for mayor. For my sons and the rest of us Angelinos that want to stop these corrupt politicians from destroying our city. We are going to get the golden age of Los Angeles back. This is where Mayor Bass lives.
Doing a good job, I think, personally. There was something else here.
In city council, she runs the homeless housing thing. She acts like this is just Mayor Bass. First off, inside safe,
this?
I like to say safe makes all of us outside unsafe. The reality is no matter how many beds you give these people, they are on super meth.
Oh, this
they
we
are
saw,
on
but I think it's
fentanyl.
a
The
longer
D
one.
freeway tomorrow with her, and we can find some of these people she's going to offer treatment for. She's going to get stabbed in the neck. These people do not, these ideas cost us over $400 million to people for $400 million. This is an absolute failure for both of them. They're a team.
So, Councilmember Rahman, you have 30 seconds to respond.
I want to just say to everybody who's watching today, you're going to watch today as Mayor Bass and Spencer Pratt attack me because they want to run against each other in the general election. Each of them thinks that running against each other is what's going to help them win. And they don't want to run against me because my ideas, which are based on real results in my district, which are based on real data, a real analysis of the system, and a focus on accountability and using every dollar as effectively as possible, which we have done in my district. I want to take this citywide. This is why this is happening today.
Councilmember Rahman, we're out of time. I'm going to give each of you 30 seconds to respond to this.
Can I would
Mr.
love
Pratt,
to
I'm going to start with you,
you,
and then I'm going to go to Mayor Bass.
First off, Mayor Bass and I are definitely not working together. I blame this person for burning my house and my parents' house and my town and all my neighbors down. I am not working with Mayor Bass. Second off, if I wanted to run against anybody, it would be the council member who is terrible. Mayor Bass has at least been a mayor for almost 4 years and has, as she talked about earlier, the unions, all the unions endorsed Mayor Bass. You think it's easier to run against the incumbent mayor with all the unions or a random city council member who's been a failure for 6 years? I would much rather run against Councilwoman Rahman. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Pratt. So,
I want to. You think I want to run against the person who has all of the support from the the unions and stuff? Yeah, he's exactly right. He's like, no, I would much rather run against you.
So here's what I have to say that strangely, and this is many years ago, There used to be some kind of show, One Tree Hill. I don't know what. He was a reality star. He was on
Yep.
things. The Hills. I don't even flipping know, man. The truth is, I never liked those shows. They're not my cup of tea. And during, I told you this that back in the day, I do less of this now. But there was a time that I was sort of a specialist. That if somebody was doing an event, sometimes a corporate event, sometimes it had to do with sponsorships or a product or maybe a venue or things like that. And you know if somebody needed, let's say, celebrities to show up at their event and things like that, I would be involved in the talent programming, meaning it could be event that you need to see certain actors or actresses or celebrities, and I would either work with a company as part of a company that did this, or later kind of on my own. But none of this matters. The reason why Spencer Pratt is relevant is that years ago, when these shows that he was on, I don't know if it was One Tree Hill or The Hills or whatever, I can't even tell the difference between them. Uh, I booked him, and I believe it was him and Brody Jenner together. I
Yep.
booked them to go to some kind of event. I think I did this a number of times where, like, I sent them out, I booked them for events. Not a million times, but I think that a few times I booked them. And I recall that maybe usually how it worked for those events is, if it's, let's say, maybe a special event, maybe for a product or for a company or for something like that, and somebody like him needs to make an appearance, there was a certain window of time where these kind of like quote unquote reality stars that were on these kind of shows, sometimes companies want them at an event, at a launch event. Do you got what I'm saying? Like, at the time,
Yes.
that
Yeah, of
was a thing.
course.
I don't know if anybody gives a shit about that now, because I think that the landscape has changed. But there was a moment in time that those were kind of sought after people, that you want them at your event or whatever it is. So I believe I 100% booked him and Brody Jenner. I 100% did that. That was a few, like at least a few times. And there was one time that I'm sure of this. You would give them, let's say, a piece of paper with phone numbers, with like people they need to talk to at the event. Sometimes there's an interview. Sometimes they have to take, like, on the red carpet or something, or next to some step and repeat, they have to take a picture and all this other kind of stuff. There were times, in my career, that I would fly out to events and I would sort of be more in charge of it personally. There were also, I think this was a time where I wasn't, at least in the events that he was involved in, I didn't go there. So I never met the guy in person. I didn't meet him or Brody Jenner, even though I did do the deals. But I do remember, since they get these kind of sheet with information, one of the phone numbers is usually my phone number on a sheet like this. They have their manager, they have whatever it is, but sometimes it could be a late hour, or maybe they have a quick question that they need to know who they need to talk to, and my phone number would be there. So at some point, I think I know I got a call from this Spencer Pratt guy, asking me some question, who he needed to talk to, or maybe it was an interview or whatever it was. And I think that I probably just responded to it. I remember in my memory bank speaking to this guy again, a few minutes of a conversation, remember booking him, remember speaking with him. I can't really say anything. He did whatever he needed to do. I didn't have any problems. Nobody said, "Hey, the person didn't show up and do what he needed to do." There were no issues with him on a business level, and whatever I talked to him, he didn't cause me any problems. It doesn't really, mean a lot, but for whatever it's worth, I did some kind of dealing with him, and it wasn't bad business. Do you get what I'm saying?
Hmm.
It's not an endorsement here. All I can say is
Yeah.
is that, at least, and the reason why I say this is there have been cases where I worked with, like, people that are like that, in that situation, and they were problematic. I've told you this before on the show, that I've run into some very problematic people. So if nothing else, he seemed professional enough. That's something, I guess. I kind of regret now that, even though I booked him and Brody Jenner, I never even watched 1 second of them on screen. I used to kind of, it depressed me that people even asked to book these people, because I thought to myself, why is anybody even watching them? Like, who cares? Like, uh, the thing with reality shows, the reason why I don't watch them is that the people that they're filming have to be more interesting than me. If they're more interesting than me, then I'll watch it. But generally speaking, those reality shows, those guys aren't more interesting than me. Or maybe I have a big ego and I interest myself more than they interest me.
Could be. It could be that.
Fandom Monk says it seems like he was a jerk, but it was years ago. He wasn't a jerk to me. I don't know. He was obviously younger. I mean, but I don't remember him doing anything that, like, annoyed me or bothered me or anything like that. I think the only thing I was thinking to myself at the time when I booked him, and like I said, I feel like it was him and Brody Jenner. Later, I think that I booked him and Heidi Montag together somewhere also. Because then first he was like hanging around a lot with Brody Jenner, and then I think he was with Heidi Montag, and both of them.
Yeah, his first, like the first show that he did was with Brody, and then later on, when he started dating Heidi, that's when he was in the Hill or
The
Hills
Hills,
or
whatever it is.
whatever.
I can't
Yeah,
even
and
tell the
then a bunch
difference
of other
between them.
stuff. Yeah.
As you'd think. See, the thing is that just so you see like what a man of principle I am, you'd think that if I was like booking talent for events or things like that, and I'm booking these people, the minimum I could do is go and watch one of these episodes to see who they are and why anybody would book them. But I didn't even do that. Not even one frame, Professor. I didn't even sit even 1 minute. I didn't Google it, even to see if there's a clip online. I've never watched a frame of this guy on a show. I've never watched a frame of Brody Jenner.
No,
Even
no.
even the Kardashians. Even the Kardashians. I never.
Oh God, no.
I never bothered to see what they do.
No, there's literally only one reason that I know any of this stuff, Price, and it's because after I saw the video, a week or two ago that you'd showed there, where he was talking about, they burned down my house or whatever. Like, this is where I live. Saw that video, I was like, man, who is this guy? Because like I'm interested. So I actually went and looked him up, and I was like, oh, okay. Right. And then I remembered hearing, Heidi Montag, and then I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. No, I mean, if there is one genre of television that I have spent the least amount of time ever watching, it is reality TV. I freaking hate it because it's not reality. It might not be scripted, quote unquote, but nothing about it is real. Okay. It's ridiculous.
The truth is, and I've said it before, that I once appeared on a reality show.
Mm-hmm.
But that is something that we should never talk
about. All right, well,
again.
we need to go check out episodes of The Surreal Life to find where there's a red puppet wearing a crown.
I've explained it before that sometimes you have like reality shows where you have like the main stars of whoever that reality show is, and sometimes I only give this as an example. I didn't work at a restaurant, but I'm just saying sometimes they'll go to a restaurant, or they're like, let's go to this wine tasting or whatever it is. And then, maybe when they're there, some guy comes out and says, oh, it's so great that you're here. We have this wine, we have that wine, we have this wine. And then that person leaves the frame, meaning you sometimes have people that could appear on a reality show, but they're not the focus of that reality show.
Oh, yeah.
So when I say that I was on a reality show, and I actually, I would say a few times, it was more in the capacity of like, I wasn't giving people wine, but do you understand what I'm trying to say? I wasn't.
Yeah.
It's not that people were like, wow, now like I'm the star. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody sat there and like tuned in for me like weekly to see what I would say. It was more that this had nothing to do with me, or not really. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Sure.
So somewhere out there in the ether, there's a reality show somewhere that somebody would possibly be able to notice that it is me, but very difficult to. And let's just leave it at that.
AI will find you. We were
maybe at some point AI will find me, and then that'll be it. What can I do?
That'll be it.
No, I wasn't giving people grape juice, Caleb Levine. I wasn't doing anything. I was giving an example for something that like isn't important. You know what I'm saying? That isn't extremely important within the context. If you're watching the Kardashians and they one time went to talk to a guy that owns a restaurant, I'm just saying, and like they had a conversation with him for 2 minutes and then they walked out. That guy is not anybody that anybody's going to remember on that show. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yep.
Nobody's tuning in for the guy they once spoke to for 2 minutes. So I'm just saying that it wasn't like I don't want to be misleading and give people a feeling that there's like a reality show that they turn on and it's like the adventures of Price of Reason, because that is absolutely, there's no such show. Maybe there should be. And Jonathan
Yep.
Conroy sent 5 Price of Reason live gift memberships. Thank you so much, Jonathan. It's very, very kind of you.
Very generous. Thank you.
Very, very generous. Jonathan Conroy has been with us for a while, and I always appreciate his comments in the chat and the fact that he gave this 5 gift memberships. Really, really appreciate it. And at the end of the day, when it comes to Spencer Pratt, this is actually a pretty good. He's doing better than I thought that he would. Initially, when I saw that he was going to do it, I thought maybe it was more of a gimmick. Maybe in the past he was on reality and now he's doing this and now he's doing that. But, when I see these things, these clips of him and even this debate and the fact that he did lose his home, there's something that rings true. It seems that like he has real passion to do this. I don't know at the end if that's enough to win an election in Los Angeles, because in LA, they seem to want to vote for people, even people that don't want what's good for them. They'll vote for them because they want to stay loyal to whatever parties or whatever it is. But I don't know where he'll find himself in this whole situation. But if you ask me just objectively, I think he's doing pretty decently until now.
Yeah.
And not
well,
that I'm saying,
if you actually believe that they actually count real votes in anywhere in California.
It's hard for me to say. I don't really know what's going on anymore. But
yep.
Let me see for a second. Let's see if this is the one that I want to share. I don't know, but I'll try it. I hate all these ads. These fucking ads, Professor.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Can you not close it? Oh, okay. There we go.
So, Spencer Pratt debate truth bombs earn praise from Clinton world Democrat. He answers like it's hard to ignore the good job he's doing. I think there's also like those kind of things where they gamble on things online. Those Kalshi or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I think that his odds went up
Poly
there.
market.
Which it's not saying much, but it does say something. Let's see for a second what his odds. Okay, share this tab instead. Now they're showing. They think that Karen Bass has a 48% chance, Nithya Raman 29%, and Spencer Pratt 27%. Now, she had a much higher score, this Nithya Raman, which has dropped over the past week significantly, and even after the debate, even more. Spencer Pratt keeps going up. So I don't know which this, and now they're thinking first round winner, margin of victory, blah, blah, blah. They're thinking that the 2 that are going to make it, because you need 2 to make it to the next round, and then it's like 1 against the other. That's how the system works there. I think that he keeps climbing, whereas this Nithya Raman keeps going down on the list. And I mean there is a real chance. I think that in terms of being the candidate versus Karen Bass, I think that he has a chance. His odds have improved, and if he continues like this, in that sense, I think he has a chance. Whether or not in an election he can beat her, I don't know, but he's doing a lot of things correctly. So kudos to him. I didn't think much of it initially when I saw it. I'm like, this guy that we used to hang around with, Brody Jenner, is now going to run for whatever. Really didn't take it seriously. But the more I see, and like I said, I wasn't aware of his personal story. I didn't know how much he'd have been affected by the fires and things like that.
Yeah, and he's a native, Angelino. He's lived there his whole life. His family's lived there, for many years. Like he said, it wasn't just his house that he lost. He lost his parents' house as well. So he's, he was pretty heavily affected by this, and he's lived there for a long time. So he's, he knows the people, there. He knows what's going on. He's not some new transplant that's moved in from somewhere because he was, wealthy and just wanted to move to LA. Like he's been there for a long time.
And just so you know, Adam Carolla, after that whole fire thing started, he said at the time that there's going to be some kind of shift that a lot of people that are affected by these fires are going to try to have their houses rebuilt, and they're going to run into all the red tape and bureaucracy that California has to offer, and there's going to be a lot of angry people. And I remember that he said that immediately, like the next day after that it all started,
Oh
and I
yeah.
can't help but feel when I saw this like Spencer Pratt guy thinking, man, this is you can go around and do a lot of stuff, but losing so many homes for so many people is has to be a wake up call for somebody. You know what I mean? You never heard this Spencer Pratt guy say any of this before, but I think that once you and your family and people lose homes, I think people start singing a very different tune,
Oh yeah.
especially when you don't have a home and it turns out that they gave like 400 million for 3,000 homeless people.
Yeah, yeah. You don't have a home, and yet your county is, according to some estimates, spending as much as $82,000 a year per homeless person. That's
Yeah,
insane.
ridiculous, ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. Both when it comes to I think Gavin Newsom is not a good governor. I don't think that Karen Bass is a good mayor, and I really I've seen it because I know some people that live in Los Angeles or California and whatever it is, and I've seen people that I know that are so blind to just follow. It's fine if you want to vote, for the party that you like, but at least be reasonable. If it's a person that's just doing bad for you, really bad. This isn't like a kind of a little boo boo, you know what I mean? The things that have been going on with California, with Newsom, and with Bass, in my opinion, are terrible. They're terrible. They're not. It's not like something that you just say, well, they're just typical slippery politicians. I think it's much worse than that. So
Yep. Yep.
So yeah, even though at the time I didn't watch his show and I didn't, I guess, think much of him, even though yeah, he didn't do anything wrong at the time, but I guess I didn't think much of him. I've changed my mind about the guy. Now I kind of like I think more positively about him. Could have also matured during this time. Again, he didn't do anything wrong at the time. I don't think that he said or did anything that especially like I don't think he upset me or pissed me off or anything. I don't remember what it was, what we talked about even and what it was, but I will say that this is I think more highly of him now. Let's just put it that way. Because at the time
Yeah.
I'm like, I could probably go to, you know, I mean, I don't want to be like I wasn't like sour grapes or anything, but I'm like people are paying these people to go places. Like, why? Who gives a shit? Like, you should pay me. I'll go there
Yeah.
and, like, say some shit, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
what are you
Pay
paying me
me.
for? Pay me,
Pay me.
yeah, exactly. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. It's certainly interesting, and it feels like a twist that is sort of unexpected and people didn't see coming. Because in California, it's really difficult to make any kind of splash, and I feel like this guy keeps getting stronger. Is it enough to get him the mayor job? I don't know. Is he like a force to be reckoned with, seemingly out of nowhere? Yeah, and I'm rooting for him over like Karen Bass any day of the week.
Oh, absolutely. There's going to be a lot of people there that are going to be rooting for him too, because Karen Bass has been a disaster.
And
And
not to
should-
sound like Willem Dafoe in Spider-Man, but I'm something of an Angelino myself. Uh, only like the most minor thing, but I don't know. Did I ever tell you this? I probably told you this that when I was young, I lived in Los Angeles for a few years.
yeah,
Did I mention that? I probably
yeah, I
did
think
at
you
some point.
mentioned it.
Strange because it, when I was young and I lived there, it was a kind of a nice place.
Yeah,
Like there was a pretty good vibe there. I mean, I was young, so you could say, well, maybe there wasn't a good vibe, but you thought there was a good vibe. No,
yeah.
but I think there was a good vibe. It felt like it seems like it was better then than it is now.
Well, yeah, sure. I mean, I know I've got some family that lived in LA for a while, about a decade ago, and they loved it. They said it was wonderful. Like it was really great. Like it had its issues here and there, but it was not the mess that it is now. Like it
No,
was headed that way, but it wasn't that way just yet. Yeah.
I thought it was very pleasant, and yeah, a lot changed. A lot changed, and I'm talking young. This is decades ago. This is not
Yeah.
even like 1 or 2 decades ago. This is significantly a long time ago. But yeah, it was an interesting time, and I think positively of the place. Then, because of my work later on, I would spend time in LA. Like sometimes I could spend weeks at a time there, or even a month, or things like that. There were times that I was there on the West Coast doing stuff, so I spent some time there, and I always rather liked it. I mean, the weather is pretty good. There's something I like a place with good weather, and there's certain things about it that I enjoyed. But these days, when I think of LA and I see everything that's going on there, I'm not as excited. It's not as cool as it used to be. Somehow they managed to like make it like more of a bummer, which is sad. It really was a nice place for whatever it's worth.
Well,
Uh, Things changed 20 years ago. That's probably true. I
hmm.
think that's fair. Price was on the family business. Is that a reality show? I don't know what that is. I have no idea. So
Was
yeah,
that was the one where they sell cars, right? It was a car salesman.
I guess. They used to think of the dumbest things. I don't know. I don't wanna be mean. Listen, everybody does whatever they do, for a living, and, I do know some people that I have a better relationship with that were on reality shows, and, I don't hate all of them, but like I said, for the most part, throughout the years, when I'd see a reality show, I think, like, I it's like I said, I could do better than this, if, like they were filming people that I thought were kind of hollow and had nothing to offer. So I'm just watching people with like nothing to say just waste my time. Why would I want to watch you waste my time for half an hour? Do you get what I'm saying?
Yes. Yep.
But it's fine. I mean, there's some people that like it. Uh, you know, uh
Yeah.
Like the time when like Jersey Shore was like big. It's like who cares about these guys? They don't make me laugh. I don't think they're anything interesting. It's like I don't know, but sometimes people don't have something to watch and they're fooled into watching stupid things. I mean, who am I to tell them differently? But I thought it was just dumb. Meant nothing to me. Nothing personal, of course, but you know what I'm saying.
Nothing personal.
No, it is Professor Artoo. Price was a bidder on Storage Wars. One day, maybe
One
it'll
day.
pop up
Yeah.
somewhere, and he'll
Oh
be
God, that's
bidding on
okay. So I did watch some Storage Wars. Again, not a big reality TV person, but I did watch some Storage Wars because at one point long ago, I did help manage a storage place. And so we did that stuff, right? We like I had to go and like cut open units and take pictures and do an inventory from outside the unit, and then we had to auction it off and like all of that stuff. Like we did that, and so it was pretty funny to to watch like these things, and it's like everyone's making it this crazy dramatic thing. I'm like, okay, 90% of those units are filled with trash bags of stuff. Like you don't know anything that's in there. Most of them are just garbage. But it is funny because you do occasionally. There's one that you cut open a unit and you auction it off, and it's something crazy. One of them that we did auction off was one time there was a guy that had a what's the name? Not Bugatti. And he was a really high end motorcycle that he had put in the storage unit, and then he stopped paying on the storage unit, and we sold his motorcycle. I mean, I felt like an ass doing it, but those are the rules. We had to get our money back. So
Oh, it's an unofficial comics division raid. What does an unofficial raid look like? I don't know what unofficial comics division raid is.
Comics division says, "Hey, go over there." That's how it works.
Oh, well, that's very kind of comics division. I appreciate that.
Go over there. Yeah.
Official, not official, I'll take it.
Do it yourself raid.
Self-raid?
Says
Okay.
Deeple.
That is a totally cool comics raid. I'm all about it. Let's do it. It's funny. I'm trying to think if I've ever, maybe once I'm trying to think if I was ever on a stream with comics. Maybe once. Yeah, I don't know if one of those somebody has a birthday and there's like 1 million people on the stream, but I don't remember ever doing like a lengthy. Maybe once I remember doing something, but it's so hard to remember now. I've been on so many streams, but he's always seemed like a nice guy to me. So yeah, always happy if somebody recommended to come here, I'll take it. And yeah, it's cool. Now, you were saying the thing, there was something I wanted to say, and then we kind of went in another direction with the storage thing. Oh, okay. You said you watched Storage Wars. I'll tell you this. There are reality shows in the past that I've watched, but I'll tell you which ones I watched. If it's, let's say, something like with cooking, sometimes I'll watch it just because I'm interested, because I don't care about the people as personalities. I just like the idea of seeing what they cooked. You know what I mean? Like, I'm thinking, honestly, I'm probably not gonna go to the kitchen and cook it myself. It's nice though to see somebody cooking something, because it's craft. Do you get what I'm saying? So something like that I could put up with. Yeah, I'm referring to the reality shows, not like that there's maybe something specific like on a business level that you're interested in or things like that, but more that there's just like three 20-something-year-old people babbling. You know what I mean? Like, that to me is a waste of my time. If it's somebody like, even if it's like, I'll give you an example. Even if it's like Guy Fieri driving around and like eating sandwiches somewhere, at least he like stopped by in the middle of nowhere and ate a sandwich. I don't care so much about him. I'm interested in the sandwich.
Yeah, or in the restaurants. Yeah, because okay, so you got me. That would be one reality show that I did watch. We loved watching diners, drive-ins, and dives.
I've watched it before myself. I'm telling you honestly. But again, I want to point out, I'm not watching those shows so much because of the host. What I really like is that I want to see the restaurants he visits, because he's going to a place that I'll never drive to myself. And it's like, well, I'm in Tennessee now. Let me see what do they make ribs here? And I'm like, well, do they? Like, I suddenly like he's piqued my interest. I want to see where he went to eat.
Yep.
But it's not that like. It's fine. He's not bothering me, but I'm not really thinking about him, if you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. I've actually been to 2 restaurants that were featured on diners, drive-ins, and dives. Yeah,
that's cool. Yeah,
one I visited well before it ever showed up on diners, drive-ins, and dives, and one we had an opportunity to go to afterwards. But both are great restaurants.
Nice.
Yeah.
So basically, I would say that. Like drivers, dive-ins, and drive-ins, and whatever. There was a time that occasionally I watched like Chopped or something. Now again, Chopped, the main reason is because it's a competition that they're trying to cook something and do it quickly. I like the idea that they're given 10 random ingredients and they have to put together a dish. And I think to myself, what would I do if I were them? And honestly, I probably couldn't do much of anything because I can't cook. I'm not a good cook or anything. So when I see like somebody quickly put something together, I'm kind of impressed, on like I said, crafting. But I'm not watching it. It's not shows that I'm watching because I want to spend. I'm referring to the ones that there's just cameras following around a few ladies.
Sure, yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say?
Absolutely, yeah.
Most of those, there have been situations where maybe there could have been a show that I knew somebody personally. So maybe if you know the person, it becomes a little more interesting because you're kind of curious. But aside from like, unless you're on it or somebody on it personally, most of the time, it really doesn't matter to me, and especially those kind of mainstream ones that were more those kind of Brody Jenner and Spencer Pratt. Couldn't care less about them back in the day. Still don't care about them. I actually, another thing, uh, none of the versions of the Kardashians that ever existed, never watched it. Never watched those shows.
Mm-mm.
I've
No,
even done business
never.
sometimes with people, from those shows, but I didn't watch them. Like, I don't care. Not of interest to me. It's like, if you put it on after 2 seconds, I'll want to change the channel. I don't want to look at it, or I'll turn it off.
Hmm.
But yeah, maybe this guy can run for mayor.
Yeah.
Good luck to him.
Why not? I mean, come on.
Master Chef Junior was awesome for the first few seasons. You know what? I liked Iron Chef, like, early on back in the day. I liked Iron Chef. I thought it was pretty cool. Stuff like competition with cooking and food, or suddenly there's like a guy that's traveling in Japan and like eating sushi or weird things like that. That's stuff that I can get behind. Food, somebody eating it in interesting locations, or a competition where people are like cooking and whatever, that I don't mind.
Yeah.
Another thing that I, to a lesser extent, but once in a blue moon, which usually it's not me that puts it on, but I know other people that put it on. If there's like a sort of a home improvement thing where somebody buys a crappy home and they renovate it, and then like by the end you look at it and at the beginning it looked like crap, and then at the end like it looks like cool, and they invested and they did like the renovation, I could sometimes, be, coaxed to watch something like that. I don't hate it. Just because, like, I like the idea of building stuff, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, sure.
Like, taking a dump and
Yeah.
making it look good is something that I can at least, that could pique my interest.
Polishing a turd.
Yeah, no, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you buy,
Take-
you know how
You
those kind
said
of,
taking a dump and making it look
oh,
good. So it's
no, you know what I mean? Like, but okay, I'll reword. I'll reword what I said. I understand how that sounded, but I'm saying that basically you're buying a dump, you're purchasing a house that's a dump, and you're renovating it and making it look good. So in that sense, that's pretty cool.
house flipping shows. Those were
House
very
flipping
popular
shows,
for a
yeah,
while. Yeah.
Again, I wouldn't spend nothing that I told you now is stuff that like I would watch religiously. It's just like once in a while, if I'd run into something like that, I could tolerate it. But those are very different because there's something of a purpose to them. I'm referring for those kind of Kardashian type shows, but it's okay. Some people like it, especially ladies. Ladies love that stuff. There is a whole
Oh
audience,
yeah.
of ladies that love watching that crap.
Oh yeah. Oh no. Yeah. My mother loves the house renovation shows. My wife's watched them on occasion. With my Gavin mentions the show that my kids love, which is It Cake?
I don't even know what that
You
is.
haven't seen Is It Cake?
I don't know what is a cake
Okay,
is,
so,
not is, no.
so there's these they have people who come on, these bakers that make these cakes that are like photorealistic, right? So what they do is they have a challenge to, like, they're like, okay, here's a Michael Jordan sneaker from 94 or whatever, and they give them the sneaker, and then they have to make cake that looks like a Michael Jordan sneaker. Like, they have to decorate it up and they have to do a good enough job that they can fool the judges to not be able to know which one's which, right? And so then there's this real stupid dramatic thing where they come up and like, oh, is it? Oh, yeah, they guess, and then the guy comes up with a knife and then tries to cut it, and if it's not if it's cake, he slices it open, you see what's inside, and then if it's not, it is the silliest show. I don't know, my kids get a real kick out of it. Seeing them make these like photorealistic cakes, it's pretty interesting. Not anything I've spent an extended amount of time watching, but the kids seem to love it.
Well,
Then the Nailed It show as well. They like. Have you ever seen Nailed It?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, okay. Well, Nailed It is a cooking show, but they bring on people who are terrible. They bring on people who are awful cooks, awful bakers, and then they give them challenges to make this, that, or the other thing. And so they're like, "Oh, look, here's this so they have like a real baker make this incredibly gorgeous, like multi-layered cake with all sorts of amazing decoration on it, and then the bakers have to try and make this themselves." But they're basically set up to fail because the actual bakers would have gotten like 5 or 6 hours to make this and put it together, and then they only give the bakers on the show like a couple of hours, and and then of course they don't have any of the skill set to do anything they need to do, so then they end up making these hilariously terrible versions of the cakes, and it's humorous. It's a ridiculous show, but it's funny.
Speaking of ridiculous, so we had a bit of a scandal today with Mark Hamill.
Oh, jeez. Yes.
I'm going to be careful in my wording here because I don't want any problems. Imagine that if I actually said what Mark Hamill did and wrote, I could get in trouble with certain platforms, not with Rumble. Rumble, by the way, platform for free speech. Uh, you know what? You didn't say anything, but the logo wasn't up. So, in case you don't know, the Night Owl, our headquarters are on Rumble. Rumble is a platform for free speech. I've been here since the beginning of Rumble, and this is it's really important that people support it. If you haven't signed up, you should do it. If you're watching on an app and you haven't signed up, you should do it. You should follow us so you know about our streams. Of course, if you're on other platforms and you're watching us, make sure to like and subscribe and things like that. And if you're that one person on Twitch that we just started streaming on Twitch, we're taking the platform by storm. There's one person right now on Twitch watching us. You know who you are, and we thank you for your viewership.
It's totally not me.
Oh, there's also the local on locals.
We did have one other person on there earlier, but they're not on there now.
Oh, they gave up. Let's see if anybody's watching us on Kick. I think we have. I don't think. At least we're streaming on Kick. That's for sure.
We're there. Yeah, you can't win if you don't play, right?
I don't really know what happens on Kick. Really, what is it that you're supposed to do to make people notice your stream? I have no idea. Like, I literally, it's an account that just maybe a week and a half ago, same as Twitch, would never do anything there. I never visited. I never do anything there. And I just, I understood that we can press a button and we'll also be streamed there. So I decided to go for it. But really, my expectations are low. I'm doing it. I don't even know why I'm doing it. It's probably there's no reason to do it, but you know what? Fuck it. Sorry, Sean. So the Night Owl on Rumble, you can see the logo. It's part of the technology that we have. So when it comes to Mark Hamill, he basically, I prefer not to show the things that he's done. I don't even want to get in trouble. But he had he posted something on Blue Sky because that's where he posts stuff these days, in that weirdo place.
In the friendly environment of Blue Sky, where he can get away with saying outrageous, ridiculous things without being challenged. Yeah,
right, exactly. So he said something. He basically had a picture of Trump no longer amongst the living, and
yes, in a cemetery.
Right, and he wrote something that suggests that he wants Trump to be deleted. Now,
yes,
that is really, really problematic. Like, you could be a douche and have your own political opinions. I think that that's a level of, you want to call it TDS or whatever it is, that's way off the charts. There's no, and some of these people, they don't learn their lessons, and I think that everybody enables them. This whole like media enables him. These leftists or whatever you want to call it. I don't really care. I know some people that are moderate left. There are people like that, and I don't think they're like all like Hamill. But these kind of celebrities that are far left and not using their brains. He has been such a whiny, bitter loser for so many years now when it comes to his politics, alienating his own fans, talking negatively about people, and I really don't understand the guy. The guy was in the best position possible to bring people together. He was the biggest, one of the biggest heroes or biggest on-screen heroes ever. He was this type of guy that would transcended time, place, ethnicities, it transcended everything as this kind of icon hero that everybody liked. Up until maybe like 10 years ago, you'd say Mark Hamill and everybody would only think like super positive things. Everybody liked Mark Hamill. And then he became bitter about Trump. And he's intolerable. And it's not a matter of him not liking Trump. You can not like Trump. It's fine to not like him. You can not like him, and that doesn't matter to me one way or another. It's the fact that it's not that just he doesn't like him. He is going into weird, spooky, creepy territory.
Yeah. There's a difference, right? I mean, there's I don't like this politician. They should not be elected. Someone should challenge them. Stuff like that. Can you believe they did this? Whatever. There's that kind of response to someone, politician or whoever that you don't like, and then there's wishing them bodily harm and worse, right? Like it's gone well beyond. I mean, they call it Trump derangement can't talk. Trump derangement syndrome for a reason. I mean, it is derangement. It is completely detached from reality. I mean, it has destroyed him. I'm serious. Trump lives rent free in his brain 24 hours a day. It is honestly, it's kind of sad, but he's not the only one, I guess is what I'll say.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Gavin says they liked Star Trek Academy over on Blue Sky.
I guess so, yeah.
Oh, I bet they did. I'm
trying to think for a second about something, but yeah, okay. So what happened was he does this post, he feels great about it. And then once there's all this kind of backlash and all this stuff, he deletes his post and he gave this half-hearted apology. It's not even an apology. I'm sorry, he didn't apologize. It wasn't even half-hearted. He's just like, "Oh, I didn't mean that. You thought that that's what I meant. I didn't even mean it." It's like, listen, people aren't stupid. I don't think there's any other way to interpret what this man wrote initially. He could try to say that it's not what people thought all along. And I bet the only reason he even did that is probably some managers, lawyers, studios, somebody called him and said, listen, dude, yes, we all of Hollywood thinks the same way as you do. You can't go around writing that because that is already something that even we can't. I mean, some of them probably pretend to like it even or like it or whatever it is, but even they can't, show that they like it. So he has to tone it down. So he kind of did this half-hearted thing of, it's a big misunderstanding. I don't think it was a misunderstanding. I don't think it was. And the problem is, a while back, this was a number of years ago, I think it was Ivanka Trump. She posted a photo of her kids that were wearing stormtrooper suits or something like that. And then he wrote "Go force yourself," and it's dude, sure, you don't like the president, but 2 kids wearing Star Wars suits, you know what I'm trying to say?
Oh yeah. And then I'd assume you saw what he did for May the 4th this year.
What did he do now? Didn't he isn't that the one with the deleting Trump, or is it was something else?
No. He did a video promoting the Obama Presidential Center with Obama. Yeah.
Listen,
it was bizarre.
The thing is that the franchise is dead anyways, but sadly, if you wanted this whole franchise to suffer another major blow, Mark Hamill being the way he is not helpful. You know what I mean?
Nope.
The only thing, and I'll tell you what, the only thing for a number of years that has still kept Star Wars, and again, I don't feel about it the way I used to. I'm going to be honest, after what's happened over the past maybe 10 years, 10, 11 years with Star Wars, I don't have that excitement, wonder and excitement that I did prior to, Kennedy taking over and everything that happened afterwards. But the one thing I'll say is, still, if you put a movie from the OT, from the original trilogy, there was still a part of me that kind of liked what I saw. Like, there's still something in my childhood or whatever. But, I told you this before, that to Mark Hamill's credit, in the Star Wars movies, he looks very different than he does today. So it's almost like I imagine it's a different person. And if in my mind it's a completely different person who doesn't look and act like the person that he is today, I
Yeah.
can somehow still watch those movies. If he looked in those movies like he does now, couldn't even probably watch them. It's just that he looks so different that maybe you can kind of imagine that it's a different person. That's the only way you can somehow consolidate and still, watch those original movies with a straight face. But with every additional action that he doesn't help himself. And I want to say that this has nothing to do with politics, okay? It doesn't matter to me who was elected president. The president could be a Democrat or a Republican. I think that in a proper democracy, if you care about a democracy, then getting rid or removing a president in any other way except for at the ballot box is something that is terrible, and as a democracy we should never strive for. Never. No matter who the president is. Do you get what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And the same goes for any other politicians too. I mean, in the representative republic that we have and the way that we elect our officials and all that stuff, like that is it. The peaceful transfer of power is one of the absolute hallmarks. It is at the very center of everything that makes that system work, right? You don't like somebody, you don't like their policies, you don't like what they do. Okay, you run a candidate and you talk to the populace and you get your votes and you replace them, right? If there's something egregious, something that they have done, the particular whatever, there are remedies for that as well. To remove people from office in at least in many cases. But no, you don't wish them harm. You don't wish for them to be removed from this world in various ways. That's not healthy at all for a representative system of government, for a system of government that is built on the peaceful transfer of power. Right. It's disgusting, frankly.
Yeah, exactly. And not only it's disgusting on one hand, and it's nothing that we should strive for, but it discredits everything that we're supposed to be. So I couldn't be more, against anything like that. The fact that he's thinking, well, I don't like this president, so I can say this and it's cool, is a big problem with him. But sadly, it's not only just him. It seems that, uh the people that are always pretending to be so tolerant and so inclusive and so they just want to do all of that stuff. It's exactly the thoughts that they approved and the people they approved, and the second that something doesn't go the way they want, anything in their mind, anything is legit. You know what I'm saying? And I have an issue with that. And more than anything, I hate the hypocrisy. I hate that kind of hypocrisy. That somehow, there's so many people like that are bad and they don't realize that they're bad. Is just annoying. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's the situation we're in these days. And later when you have these people trying to delete him and things like that, and don't be surprised. I mean, that's the rhetoric you have. And people are like, well, he also has rhetoric. Yeah, he's a character and he has rhetoric, but that's not the same thing. You know what I mean?
No, it's not
it
the
is
same
not the
thing
same
at
thing.
all. No, and to they say, oh well, we've got to turn down the temperature. There's too much political violence is not acceptable, whatever. But then they go right back to posting garbage like that and doing all sorts of other stuff, and then claiming that it's entirely that political violence is entirely a situation on the right, never recognizing all of the things that they have encouraged with their outrageous rhetoric. I mean, when was the last time you heard a single Democrat talk about the president without using the words fascist, mustache men, all of these other
Maybe John Federman is the only one that doesn't do that.
Yeah. Well, he's amazingly turned out to be one of the most reasonable politicians we've elected in decades. Not that I'm wishing anyone ill, but perhaps there's a few candidates that could use, could benefit from a stroke. I don't know. Clearly,
I would never wish that upon anybody.
No. But clearly, it seemed to help John Fetterman. So I don't know.
I don't know. Listen, I don't know the thought process of John Fetterman. I just know that these days, anytime that there's something going on, he seems like a very reasonable guy. Yep. He, to me, seems like what used to be politics in this country. Yeah. You agree, you don't agree, but there's at least a minimum, etiquette or whatever you want to call it. But obviously, just want to make it clear, I don't wish anybody to go through any kind of medical emergency like he went through. That's not a good thing, and
no, of course not. Just being humorous, but he is absolutely he is essentially like a Democrat from the 1990s. That's the thing. Like that's the he hasn't changed from the opinions that Democrats had in the 1990s. Like, he still has those opinions, and he's willing to be independent. He's willing to not be pushed around by the most radical elements of his party. There are some Republicans as well that are not willing to be pushed around by the most radical elements of their party. It's good to see that. It's good to see there needs to be more people like that. So this was the video that came out for the
ugly Obama
May the 4th. This it's a monstrosity.
Looks awful.
It's horrifying. It's real short. We can watch it real quick.
Happy Star Wars Day from the Obama Presidential Center.
I have a very good feeling about this.
Mark, I am glad you are here. I want to tell you about someone.
Okay.
A young person born into ordinary circumstances, but restless, unsatisfied.
Mm-hmm.
A kid with big dreams, a bit of a rebel.
I like where this is going.
They join a scrappy group of underdogs and set out to change things.
By blowing up a giant space laser?
Mark, this is not about you.
Oh.
As wonderful as you are, this is about them.
No, it's all about you.
My legacy.
It's always about
It's
you.
a gateway to yours. The Obama Presidential Center is much more than a museum. It is an entire campus built to empower you. A place to come together, get inspired, and become a force for change. See what I did there?
Strong the dad jokes are.
Oh. That's perfect.
Oh.
So cringe.
It's absolutely awful. Oh, and it's this thing. Yeah, you notice what you have to get into the Obama Presidential Center? Tickets.
Oh, okay.
That you have to pay for. Why.
I wonder why the Twitter algorithm has recommended Mamma Mia to you. I don't know what to think about this, Professor.
I don't know why I would have recommended slow jams either. That's definitely not my thing.
Very strange stuff.
I get why I would be getting Tomby's coding dev sessions, though. That makes sense.
Yeah, no, that I understand, but the other stuff I don't really know what to tell you. But,
I think that's just the what's happening section. I don't know how that gets picked.
There used to be a show called What's Happening, and then there was What's Happening Now. And I watched
Dynamite.
Dynamite is Good Times.
Oh, that was Good Times. You're right.
It had rerun in it. It had rerun What's Happening. Oh. That's like the I'm trying to think of the theme song. I can't really sing it. It was something with like this kind of I don't know if it's a trumpet or something. It goes. Never mind. Can't even sing it, but it had rerun. That's the only reason I like that show, because of rerun when I was a kid. Really liked that character. I don't even know what happened to that actor or that character, but as a kid, I liked rerun. I'm not gonna lie. In any case,
personally, I think that presidential center looks like an AT-AT that got tipped over and smashed into the crowd.
It looks awful.
It looks hideous.
And the other thing is Obama, it's like now he's popping up, he's trying to do something else or something. I think I saw something else I want to share that's also cringe. Let me see if I can find it. I think I may have even bookmarked it. So you have there's something about him, Obama.
Oh, he was doing a bunch of stuff with Mom Donnie the other day,
Yeah, he loves
like
Mamdani already. That sucks.
indoctrinating preschoolers or something.
Yeah, no,
Remember
I saw that he did the Mamdani thing, but let me show you this other thing that I'm trying to show you. Let's see. Now he hangs out with like Stephen Colbert. I don't know what they're babbling about. Stephen
Oh
Colbert,
God,
who's like,
can't wait till he's not relevant anymore.
you don't have to wait long.
Or a need.
I don't know. I mean, the thing is that yeah, he's good at doing this bullshit and speaking. He's a good speaker when it comes to like, this kind of bullshit that he does, Obama. But I don't buy any of this. Behind closed doors, Obama did a lot of slippery things, like to try to make it seem like he's like, some big saint and, criticizing all this stuff seems a bit hypocritical to me personally.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of putting it mildly.
It's pretty well understood that Obama was behind and helped direct what is known as Crossfire Hurricane. That was the name of the action where the FBI used faulty, poorly sourced intelligence. Some say that they knew exactly how poorly sourced that intelligence was to target Donald Trump's campaign in 2016. And that was used to do all sorts of stuff that is just completely, you want to talk about norms? It is completely outside the norm to use the FBI and use the DOJ and other stuff to investigate potential challengers who are running for office like they did. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous to try and claim that he didn't do that. That didn't happen. There's plenty of evidence that it did. Plenty of evidence that he was in on it, that he knew what was going on.
I'm looking for a new gig.
Until today, I think that Obama meddles in stuff that he doesn't need to meddle with.
He absolutely does.
Meaning most of the presidents, whoever they were, Democrat or Republican, most of the time, I'm not saying there probably were situations maybe that wasn't 100%. Most of the time after you're done with your job, you go on, you do something else, and you leave people alone. Maybe from time to time you show up, you say something. I don't know if there's been like a bigger behind-the-scenes meddler than Obama. And the thing with Obama is he's very slick. He'll always come out and make it seem like he's this aw shucks, like decent guy, like this swell guy. But really, behind the scenes, he's not what he presents himself as. Now, I will say this: say what you want about Trump, but I do feel, at least with Trump, pretty much what you see is what you get. He'll take the microphone, say the craziest shit, but I'll believe that he actually believes that crazy shit. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Whatever that crazy thing that he just says, I believe that he believes what he just says. Meaning, he didn't try to sit there and be all like sugar-coated and like pretend he's somebody else. He just says whatever it is that he thinks. And yeah, maybe that's a bit for some people to stomach. And I will say that if you asked me if I think that the temperament and sort of, whatever of a president is like Trump necessarily the best fit for it, I may not tell you that he's the best fit for it, but I still think that there's something to be said about a guy who at least just sits there and tells you what's on his mind than a guy that pretends that he's like the most squeaky clean, wonderful guy on earth, salt of the earth guy sitting around here. Let's not pretend you didn't get to be the president of the United States by being all like Mr. Mr. Goody Two Shoes. You know what I'm trying to say?
Mm-hmm.
There's just, I guess for me, I take into consideration that probably anybody that's on these upper ranks of these type of positions in Washington, there's always going to be corruption there. I don't really even pay much attention to that. I think that the thing that bothers me the most is hypocrisy. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing that annoys me more when somebody is just like, trying so hard to present like a different image for what the person really is. And I've for many years felt that, this guy does not present himself the way he really is. There were a few other nuggets from this stupid thing. Let me see.
Fall.
And then you had
God.
Senator John Kennedy gave his response to this. Do you see this?
Oh, I love John Kennedy.
Bad. I also got a kick out of Mr. Colbert. He and President Obama are obviously best buds. Maybe they ought to get a motel room or something. They were just fawning all over each other. I don't have anything against Mr. Colbert. I've always thought that he was shallow as a puddle. Now he doesn't believe that. He thinks he's one of the smartest people on the planet. If you don't take my word for it, ask him. His personal vanity has always been unshakable. But his problem is not his vanity or his intelligence, it's his numbers. He was losing CBS $40 million a year because nobody was watching. So CBS told him to sit his 50-cent ass down. And they said, you're fired.
And we get this long goodbye tour, the longest goodbye tour in maybe entertainment and professional sport.
That's another thing. Usually if you're losing somebody $40 million a year, they tell you, hey, we'll see you later. Bye. You know what I mean? Stephen Colbert is the only guy that they said, hey, we'll let you stay here another year and get another 40 million. And then he goes on every night to whine about it. It's like, dude, shut the fuck up already. You ruined late night. You don't deserve this job. You haven't deserved it for the past 10 years. You've been divisive. You don't do your job. You don't tell any jokes. You're not funny at all. You don't tell even one funny joke. All you do is just bitter and whine and bitter and whine. And at the end, they fire you and he does another year of more bitter whining. It's like, I have so little respect for Stephen Colbert. I will say that back in the day, I liked the Colbert Report because I thought that the comedy there was better. But ever since they gave him the gig of late night show, he's been a disgrace, and it's only gotten worse over time, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So there's this thing here that I guess I don't even know who Paul Anthony Kelly is, really, but I guess somebody asked him about Beyonce. Did you see this?
Oh, is it the Met Gala? Oh boy.
No, so somebody asked him, this is funny. Somebody asked him about Beyonce, and he actually gave a funny answer.
Yeah, wild. Super fun. I don't know. I'm a metalhead.
Basically, they asked him, what's his favorite Beyonce song? He's like, I don't know, I'm a metalhead. This is the only halfway normal person at this whole Met Gala event. And yeah, I mean, the truth is, I don't think that Beyonce is the best thing that ever happened. I think that she's very professional. She certainly can sing and dance, and she's a professional performer. I'm not going to take that away from her, but does she have such good music and songs? I remember somebody showing that Michael Jackson had 10 Grammys, Stevie Wonder has 10 Grammys, and Beyonce has 78. You know what I mean? It's come on. There's nothing special about Beyonce that she's better than all these classic artists who were obviously in a different league than her. With all due respect, maybe she can perform well, and I'm not going to take that away from her. She sings, she dances, she's very professional. I'm not going to say that she isn't, but does she really write great music? Is she some kind of writer of great songs and music? I couldn't even tell you what the fuck songs she even has. What does
see, he missed the correct answer. So the correct answer is I celebrate her entire catalog.
Right, and
that's the correct answer.
This is going to be the end of this. I don't know who this man is. It's the end of his career. But what I'll say is that I personally have never understood what the big deal is. I feel like everybody is obligated to say that she's the best thing that ever happened, but I don't think she is the best. Not saying she doesn't have any talent or she's not a good performer, but really, every album she releases has 70 producers writing 70 songs that they all wrote. What does she do? What's so special about her? Her songs, if you tell me now, I've heard songs in different places. I've been involved in events that played songs. When you tell me what are the songs that I know of Beyonce that right off the top of my head, I'll tell you what I know. She has this song called Halo. Okay, now Halo, I wouldn't listen to that song willingly. Okay, even when it comes on and somebody plays it in the background, I'm unhappy that it's in the background. It's like it's not that I don't think she can sing all right, and I'm sure she does her performance. She sings and dances, whatever. But it's not a song like, at best, maybe some miserable ladies want to listen to that song. I wouldn't want to listen to it. Sorry, ladies, for the two ladies watching this stream. If you like Halo, I apologize. That was a unfair shot that I took there to the two women watching this. Uh, what else? So you have Halo, and the other one is all the single ladies. All the single ladies. The first time I heard it, I said, "This is the shittiest song. Please stop." And then, of course, it's another one. Anytime I hear a song that's shitty, and I say, "I hope, please don't ever put it on. I hope I never hear it again. I hope I never hear." Then, like, they won't stop playing it. It's like it always happens to me. I have the radar. I know what songs are shitty, and my instinct is exactly the opposite of these strange kind of radio mainstream things that peddle the same songs over and over again. And you know what? I'm tired. I told you this last time with this Linda Perry lady, and I'm tired that all of music has to go and circle round and round, like some dumb bitches singing about shit. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm not saying they're all dumb bitches. Okay, maybe some of them aren't, but there are too many dumb bitches singing about shit that I don't give a fuck about. Sorry, Sean. Do you get what I'm saying, Professor?
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I'm tired of it. I am tired. Every single thing that there used to be some like men coming out and doing like man things. They've managed to destroy everything. We keep talking about like movies, and I tell you every time that prior to movies, prior to comics and Gamergate and all this shit, it was the music they came for first. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you look from the year 2000 to 2026, they've taken any man in the world of music, and they did this early on, that had anything resembling that it kind of is, it's like a man doing something, they have sidelined them. They, at some point, I told you, they created a rule that they don't give rock and roll awards at the Grammys anymore at some point, and if they do it like when the cameras aren't rolling. They invite somebody into a secret room and say, "Psst, here's a Grammy, get the fuck out of here." And then they film it, and you never see that guy collecting the award. That's what ended up happening with rock and roll. You know that, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, rock
Like,
is.
oh, what's Billie Eilish gonna
Yeah.
do? Oh, what's this? What about Sabrina Carpenter? What about Olivia Rodriguez? Fuck
Ugh.
all those people. They are
All
not.
of 'em.
It is shit, Professor. It's not music. It's fine if you're a little girl and you want to listen to some shitty thing where some dumb shitty thing is crying and whining about shit. You want to listen to it, you can do that. But that is not music. That is shit. That's what it is. And you know what? You could say you're being mean. There's room for everybody. Fine. You wanted to have it so that there's room for everybody. And you also have that niche where you can listen to that shit if you like it. If that's what you're into, that's what tickles your fancy. Fine. But to make that the main course, to make it that nothing else matters anymore, except for like, what did Billie Eilish say? I don't give a fuck about her. She sucks. She's the biggest piece of shit. If she was around when there was like at the height of like Stevie Wonder, at the height of like Michael Jackson, Lionel Richie, nobody would be paying attention to that dumb bitch. Nobody. She would be some kind of footnote that nobody gives a fuck about. How did we get here?
Yeah.
Sorry.
I cannot stand Billie Eilish. There's nothing about Billie Eilish that I want anything to do with at all. I just
how did we get
talentless. Just this guy talking about Beyonce and not knowing who the hell what her music
applaud
was.
this man. I don't know who he is.
Yeah.
He's probably an idiot too, but you know what? So even an idiot sometimes says something good. So kudos to you, Mr. I don't know who the fuck you are. Kudos. Paul Anthony Kelly. Probably the only good thing this man has ever done in his career, but I'll give him props for it. His career is probably over now. Some people are talking to some people, and he's done now, probably. But thought it was funny.
Canadian model and actor, best known for portraying John F. Kennedy Jr. in the first season of Love Story, John F. Kennedy and Carolyn Bessette.
I know somebody
Never even heard of this show.
No, I know somebody who watched that, but I just don't have patience for it. But yeah, I don't know. I know somebody.
Literally his only filmography. Why is he getting invited to the Met? I don't know.
There's also something here where, again, I don't know why this annoys me, and I told you this the other day, that all these Chris Gore isn't a tourist. I like Chris Gore, but I'm saying, like, so many, people are now debating, oh, what happened to Star Wars? Oh, it became a girls' brand. Shut the fuck up already. This happened, 10 years ago. We were
Yeah.
here for years saying exactly what was happening in real time as it was happening. And now people are like, oh, really? Look what happened. Look. It's like, shut up. Not Chris Gore. I like Chris Gore. I just want
Yeah.
to,
No.
point out none of this is pointing to Chris Gore, who I like. And he actually has been saying this for years, and he's a good guy. But aside from you understand what I'm saying. It's not the Chris Gore the issue. Is that I see so many people popping out of the woodwork over the past week, giving their quote unquote their 2 cents on pop culture. Fucking tourists, not Chris Gore.
No,
who I-
yeah,
who
no,
I
not
like.
him. Yeah, there's a lot of people now that they're sneaking in. Saying,
It's
oh,
like,
well, did you? Oh, why did they turn it into a girl? Yeah, it's like I need to have a mega geek in the chat. I need to have mega geek to tell us all about it. They turned it into a girls' brand. Yes, they took a show that was for young boys and modeled that type of growth arc for young men. And then yes, what did we get instead? Well, we got Ray.
yeah. So
yeah, terrible.
In any case, what I was just going to say is that I don't like this recent awakening that all these people are now pretending they care about something that we've been talking about for a decade. Not again. Somebody mentioned, and I guess they brought Chris Gore into the conversation. He has been here for a long time. He has legitimately been criticizing it, and I have nothing bad to say about him. So that's not the point of what I was going with. I'm talking about those other accounts that I was mentioning a few of them to you a few days ago. That just those kind of just write fluff, that they just write shit on Twitter just to get a few additional views, and they're basically just regurgitating things that we said years ago, so pretending now that it's a thing. That sometimes annoys me. Not gonna lie to you, Professor.
Yeah. It's like they some of the Hollywood
Is Mega Geek here?
No. Say I wish he was. It's because he's one that's been on that train talking about taking it and turning it into a girl's brand just over constantly. But yeah, what now it's like there's been a little bit in the Hollywood trades or whatever that now has allowed people to feel that it's okay to start saying nasty things about Disney Star Wars and start actually, discussing this.
Right.
Right. So yeah, I don't know.
Again, like my what I showed you, that tweet from years ago, that I knew exactly how it was all going to play out, that at some point all these same people would all just pretend, yeah, there was always an issue. There was always an issue with Star Wars and the sequels. It was always a problem. You weren't saying them when those movies came out and were shitty. You're saying that now, 10 years later. I always said. No, you didn't always say. You said back then that we were shitty people, that we were ists and phobes for not liking it. Now you don't like it. That's the part that I can't stand. It's like I told you, there's a double whammy situation I don't like. Some people could have said something but didn't for many years, just because they thought it wasn't important. But then now they're jumping on that bandwagon. And some people actually actively just said that they, if you didn't like this movie, you're an ist and a phobe because they liked the activism or whatever. And now they're pretending they didn't say that. So you have from both directions, people that are disingenuous and that annoy me. But yeah. Kathleen Kennedy is going to go down as the first woman to ever take the biggest franchise in entertainment and run it into the ground. She's the first woman that ever did that.
Mm-hmm.
Like she broke that glass ceiling, you know? Prior to her, there wasn't a woman that took over the number one entertainment franchise and ran it into the ground, and she managed to break new territory, you know? I don't even know many men that were in that position really, but she is, whatever it is that you want to say about her, she is the first woman to destroy that franchise. There's never been a woman before that did that. 6 says, I understand not being a Billie Eilish fan, but what is causing the vitriol you both have for her? First of all, Professor probably loves Billie Eilish. I'm sure he listens to her
Yeah,
all the time in his
just
spare time.
It's on a loop whenever I get in the car. It's just nothing but Billie Eilish. I celebrate her entire catalog.
Ron Donofrio, Kathleen Kennedy should marry Kurt. So she's already married, but you never know. Anything is still possible.
Oh,
And
poor Frank.
I'll tell you what I think, 6. Billie Eilish is a combination of a few things. I don't like her activism. Like anything that comes out of her mouth comes off as stupid, idiotic. She's a useful idiot. You know, all the, you know, anything that comes out of her mouth.
She still isn't housing immigrants in her mansion, and she hasn't turned it over to Native Americans yet. So
even though she said that, you know, she said that that's what she needed to do, but she didn't do it. So that's
living
one
on
thing.
Stolen land. Yeah. So.
And, you know, if she had the voice of, let's say, Whitney Houston, and you say, well, you know, she is good once you give her a microphone, but I think she's overrated. Her music is an overrated piece of shit to begin with. You know, it is irritating to listen to. Even this is before I ever heard one word of her political opinions or whatever it is. I couldn't stand her and her music even before that, you know? But I said, well, you're being mean. Maybe she's nice on a personal level. But then she wasn't even that. You know what I mean? She's just my personal opinion. This is my personal opinion. She's dumb, you know? This is what I think of her. So basically, she's dumb and her music sucks. Oh, she writes music with her brother Phineas in their bedroom. Shut up. Shut up. It's
She
shit.
just whispers into microphones for her songs. Whisper.
That's what her music sounds like. That was a Billie Eilish song now.
It's yeah. I believe I have heard 2 songs of hers, and both times I went, no, no more, please.
And you know, see, a woman singer has a few things that could work for her. Maybe she has a fantastic voice and really, you know, really you connect emotionally with every note that she sings. She doesn't have that. She mumbles. Maybe she can hold a tune, but she mumbles a lot. It sounds like she sounds lazy. Like maybe that's just a representative of her generation. Her singing style is lazy. She sounds lazy. Her music is lazy and shitty. So that's bad. She doesn't sing well, in my opinion. The music doesn't sound good. Her opinions are really stupid, and I hate to say it, Professor. I'm going to probably lose the one lady, maybe at 6, that's watching this right now. But I have to be honest with you, Professor. And I don't know how to say it any other way. She's also not hot. So basically, there's nothing. I'm left with nothing. There's nothing that you say, okay, well, at least we can we agree on that? No, there's nothing. She brings nothing to the table.
Yeah.
There's not one thing that this lady brings to the table.
Here's something, you know, I am not a big fan of Celine Dion. Not really my cup of tea. But she's an incredible vocalist.
Yes, she knows how to sing.
She is wildly talented. Her voice is incredible.
I would never listen to anything that she did,
Not
but I agree with you. She
not
does
something
know how to
I want to
sing.
sit around and listen to, but she has an incredible voice.
Agreed.
Someone who's both talented and has an incredible voice, Whitney Houston, right?
I also thought she was pretty.
Yes, she's also attractive. Again, not something that I want to spend a lot of time listening to. Not generally my cup of tea as to what I would want to spend my time, you know, listening to. You know, when I had time for, you know, listening to some music. But a great performer with a great voice, lovely, and you could appreciate all of that. There's literally none of those things for Billie Eilish.
Whitney
None.
Houston had a golden voice, and in addition to that, I thought that she was attractive. Plus, I didn't hear her babbling about shit all day and all
Mhm.
night. So, relatively speaking, she was fine. The only thing I wish she would have done different is maybe some personal choices in her life, because I feel like there was maybe a different path that her life could have taken, and a lot of people would have enjoyed what she had to offer for so many years later. Aretha Franklin had a
Oh,
fantastic singing voice.
yeah.
There's
Yeah.
there are plenty of singers that are the real deal and really know how to sing and really whatever. I'll give you an example. Sometimes there's one artist that I not my cup of tea. I really do not prefer her. Even there's people that like her and I don't really like her. And as much as I don't like her, it's not like I don't have anything personal against her. I don't prefer her music, or anything about her. I'll say that, like, Mariah Carey is capable of singing. It doesn't. Like, I
Yeah.
feel it's not for me. There's something about it that I don't. I don't like her energy or something. I don't really know how to explain it. But she can sing. You know.
Yes. Yeah.
Even I'm going to say something now. And let's say it, and I'm going to move on and never talk about it again. There's so many things that I could say negative, about Rachel Zegler, and on every level, I can say a negative thing about her. She can sing. It's like
Yeah.
it's singing for me that's annoying, because it's more of like the Broadway kind where you hit all the notes, but I don't think there's any kind of character or any feel or emotion she brings to her voice the way Whitney Houston did, let's say. She doesn't have that factor, but she can hit the notes. I mean, when it comes to technically being able to sing and hit the notes, Rachel Zegler in a Broadway show can do it. Not my cup of tea. I have a million other things to say about her that I don't prefer, but I will say that in a Broadway setting, she could probably sing. So that's probably why she's thriving in that place now, because that's the kind of place that would, tolerate her, I guess.
Yeah. And as Six says, I support criticism of stupidity, but hating someone because you don't like her talent is silly, in my opinion. Okay. I mean, fair enough. I just don't think she actually has all that much talent. I think she's a product of this studio system just promoting her, hyping her up. I don't think she's that skilled as a singer, as a musician, as anything. Right.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Yeah, I mean, there's been some incredible singers over the years. Sometimes, thankfully in the past, we've gotten quite a few of them who've just, well, they've stayed out of politics, right? They've stayed out of talking about all of the the stuff that would turn people off. They listened to Michael Jordan when he said, Republicans buy sneakers too, right? Oh, you're showing your screen there, Price. Yep, there we go.
Oof.
You're
again,
good.
I'm looking at
You're
my
good.
messages, and I'm the most boring person ever. There's nothing interesting. There's not even like one good message to read here.
Yeah.
Like, I'm the most boring person on the face of the earth. That's the only good thing about me, is that even if I do something stupid like that, I talk to people about nothing. So
Sturgeon wants to make sure we understand that Billie Eilish does have a large pair, and that is apparently worth some consideration. Just not my type. Sorry.
No, I'm past
not my the emo like look, whatever.
We're past on that one,
not my
bro.
type. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
By the way,
she does have fansics. I know that there's lots of people have fans. I also think that I don't think that there's a lot of people who are extremely popular right now that don't have any real talent. They're just a product of being hyped by the studios. So I mean, we've seen this is not new. This is, bands have been around for ages. Performers have been around for ages. That they're there because they're being pushed and hyped by this, by the studio system. And, a lot of them eventually just burn out. They end up failing because, they didn't actually have the talent. They didn't actually have the the skills needed to continue to innovate and continue to perform and be better than what they were before. There's just there is a long tradition of these sort of artificially manufactured performers, and it doesn't mean that they don't become popular. They absolutely do, but yeah, I mean, the next thing is they're just going to stop, artificially creating human performers. They're just going to use AI to create performers who do exactly what they want, to perform the songs exactly the way the studio execs want, and algorithmically reproduce the music exactly the way that they want it. And that's going to be our the next version of the artificially created pop star.
Absolutely. Anyhow, how did we get here, Professor?
Oh, I don't know.
AI slop for the win. Is that our person on Twitch?
That is Jacko Boom.
Jacko Boom. Yep. Jacko Boom's our man on Twitch.
Yes, we also had Young Godfather who wanted to let us know that we could buy the best viewers.
I told you that such a thing existed.
Those bots are all over Twitch, man. They're everywhere.
So yeah, I did do a few interesting things now. Let's see if anything happens. In any case, Professor, so yeah, that was all a bummer.
Yeah.
I noticed today that like Mark Ruffalo is going around and like whining that not more people signed the letter that he was opposed to the merger of Paramount with Warner Brothers. And the thing is, you know what's funny here? You know why he's really doing all of this, in my opinion? Because he thinks that, in his opinion, because of all of his like bowing down to all the craziest like radical, how do I say this without getting in hot water here? But let's say any force that doesn't like the US or doesn't like, he bows down to them,
Sure.
and things like that. He thinks that, the people that own Paramount are not going to be very friendly towards him. So he thinks if this merger happens, he's going to lose a lot of work. And that's, in my opinion, why he's like, oh, like he's going to all these other, actors, and it's like, you guys got to do the right thing and sign this letter. It wasn't easy for me either, but it was the right thing to do. No, it was easy for you. You're an idiot. Everybody knows you're a fucking idiot. So it's your problem. It's a you problem. It's not the other people. He's trying to make it like, look, we're all in the same boat. No, you're a fucking idiot. I mean, all those other people in Hollywood probably agree with him, but even they, in some cases, know when to shut up. You know what I mean? Like, Mark Ruffalo has a big mouth. He keeps saying the dumbest shit all the time. And now when he notices that there could be, what like they like to say, consequence culture for him, where somebody owns something that's not going to like all of the shit that he's saying, now he's like, let's all sign a letter and do a mutiny. It's like, dude, shut the fuck up.
Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
Yeah,
I see that Mark D with a C is sort of here, but he's not here.
Turn on camera. I forgot to turn on my camera. I'm used to not turning on the camera.
Okay.
Hey, everyone.
Now I think we're all here.
Yeah, you don't want to see me tonight.
These were the same people that were in favor of Paramount when they thought Netflix was going to get
100%.
Shut down all the theaters. So, man, they are so full of shit. They're all of their ears are turning brown.
Absolutely. I'm trying to find this article today where he was whining. Give me a second. I'll try to find the whining article of Ruffalo.
It's not an impressive intellect whenever you watch
Bryce, I need to defend our honor for a second, though.
Who?
So 6 claim that if Gina Carano put out an album with the same talent level as Billie Eilish, that we would all rave about it. And I contest that. We take our music fucking seriously around here.
Well, first of all, thankfully, Gina Carano has not released an album, so she hasn't put me in this awkward situation. But I think that Gina, I like her. She's very likable, and I wish her the best. And I think that whatever happened to her was not right. And I was rooting for her the whole time that she'd bounce back and managed to, to set things straight. And I was really happy that she did all of that. With all of that being said, if she makes a movie tomorrow and I don't like that movie, I'm not going to say I like the movie. If she records an album and has her like singing for an hour and I it's not my cup of tea, I'll say it. I could still say, like I was saying about Billie Eilish, how I said that there's 4 things that an artist could be, and she's not, doesn't do any of them. Maybe with Gina Carano, I'll say like, okay, well, I've never heard her sing, but let's say I would say, I don't really like her singing. But at least like she seems like to have a nice personality. She seems likable. I could say that. There have been sometimes, artists that maybe I think, well, this person is rather likable. It's not for me, but it's rather likable. My example with Billie Eilish, I was saying that there's really nothing redeeming about her. There's not one good thing that I could say about her.
Yeah, and the thing about Gina is she's not a very great actress. We've always said so, but she's really great at action scenes because she used to be a fighter. And that movie she made, that spy movie she made with Mike Fassbender, she did a great job in that. Not in acting, but of, ass kicking. So,
well, the thing is, I think that when it comes to female kicking ass for real, Gina Carano, one of the best to be able to do it, maybe the best. You know what I mean? You don't have many situations where you have a woman that can kick ass like that and do it authentically. Absolutely. So yeah, I mean, I appreciate that.
We finally get a real girl boss that can actually beat up some men, and Hollywood like tosses her away like a rag doll because they don't like her politics, which aren't even extreme.
So I agree.
Terror on the Prairie wasn't reviewed that well either, right? When that came out, I'm trying to remember now, but that didn't get great.
I didn't see the movie. To be honest, I didn't see it. The Daily Wire doesn't invite me to events. Honestly, most people don't invite me to events, especially these days. But I will say there was a time that Angel Studios from time to time would be like, hey, we have a movie, they would give me a chance to watch it and encourage that I review it. Never told me what to say, and I up until this fiasco with Animal Farm, I had, really good things to say about them. I also say that for some reason, they never reached out to me for me to review Animal Farm. I don't know if to be offended. I told you, they didn't, I wouldn't have taken the money, but they didn't offer me any money. Like, at least I could have been like Tim Pool or whatever. I'd be like, yo, they offered me all this money, but it said, nah, my integrity is more important than all that shit, yo. But like, I didn't even do that because they didn't offer me anything. So they didn't give it to me for free to review. Just to be like, oh, here you go. Like, why don't you want to review this? The other thing is they didn't invite me anywhere to see it. Not that they would do that. They don't give that much of a shit about me. They didn't invite me to see it. And at the same time, they didn't offer to pay me to say something good about it. I mean nothing to those Angel people.
Well, if you were the redheaded the redheaded grifter, they would have paid you a lot of money to say something about it.
So, by the way, this is like a thing that appeared now today in all the trades. Like Mark Ruffalo notes that many were afraid to sign letter opposing Paramount Warner Brothers merger, not unjustified. But he's like, I really took a risk. I wanted to. What did you say?
There's no risk because he's not working again either way because he sucks and people already didn't want to hire him.
He sucks. So in any case, let's see what he says. There is a deeply ugly and pervasive fear of speaking out in the entertainment industry right now, as many were afraid to sign this letter urging state officials to block the hostile takeover. This plan is already in motion. Within weeks of Paramount winning the bidding war for Warner Brothers, we helped bring together a loose coalition of civil society groups, unions, and actors. And this coalition enlisted over 1,000 artists to sign an open letter indicating our support for state attorneys general's efforts to block the takeover. Again, like you said, when it was Netflix, none of these people said anything. Suddenly,
and it's not. He keeps saying it's a takeover, hostile takeover. It's not.
No, it's a voluntary merger. What do you mean?
Yeah,
couldn't get less hostile.
Yeah. I mean, yes, there were while Netflix was still the front runner, there were some hostile takeover type moves that they were making, but that's not what this is. They're the only bidder. They're the ones who offered to pay the most. So they're the ones that are getting this, this merger here. So it's Yeah, it's not a hostile takeover, but he has to try and place it in the, worst light possible, right, to gain sympathy.
Well, maybe they can have another success like blocking the merger of Spirit Airlines with JetBlue, and we can
that'll work out
save
great.
a lot of jobs that way. I mean, yeah, I don't, I don't like these two studios merging together. Noel is saying, yeah, they must not be allowed to merge. I mean, I don't like it, but what's, can you really stop it? I mean, it's
well, they should have never allowed Disney to buy Fox, so they set a precedent in doing that. I wouldn't actually object to them blocking the merger, but they would have to force Disney to split back off, to spin off Fox again. Thing is, I would have preferred Warner Brothers doesn't sell, but it wasn't. It was a junk stock on its way to full on bankruptcy. So.
I will say this, though. I forgot to say it before because we were talking about Gina Carano, and I think that this is something that maybe Marvin Montanaro wrote on Geeks and Gamers and possibly on that Park Place as well, is that...
That's the same site now.
It's the same site. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think he wrote in both places. In any case, I think that there was some kind of a comment there that he made that Gina Carano was fired for a lot less than anything Mark Hamill did today in the past few days. And I don't want to say in words that would get us in trouble, but the whole thing with the president and deletion and things like that, man, the fact that he did that, I didn't see anybody going out and saying, oh, here at Lucasfilm, this is abhorrent. I didn't see anybody saying any of that. Somehow, her posting some meme of something that she didn't, whatever she posted wasn't really saying anything one way or another. I mean, if I were her, would I have posted that? Under the circumstances also that she was in and she was being watched like a microscope, with a microscope with those people, probably wouldn't have posted it. But at the same time, like nothing compared to what like Mark Hamill has done. And
it's great.
It shows the double standard here. It's so disgusting. We've seen it many times since that time with Gina. There's been so many cases where the people that they seem to champion have done so much worse. I mean, between like Pedro Pascal and the type of politics that he bumbles around and talks about, between Mark Ruffalo, Mark Hamill, all these people are, in my opinion, terrible people. This is just my opinion. And the fact that none of these studios ever say anything, there's no pushback, they don't say a word, and yet somehow they all piled up along with the whole industry on Gina Carano. Disgusting. And it only becomes more disgusting over time when you see these guys just go more and more and more and more. Like I said, I mean, you had Oscars after parties that had that Hassan guy as their special guest. Once this guy is your special guest, when he's your special guest and you're all embracing him, you got nothing to say anymore. You know what I mean? Like, I never want to hear one word out of your stupid fucking mouths about anything. If that's the kind of people that you're embracing, then shut up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a real disgrace that the double standard is what gets everyone, right. The hypocrites and double standards. That's
right.
What you can't stand, and it's the paradox of leftists loving dictators like Castro and Mao and Stalin and El Duce. I mean, I had my roommate in college who's Italian. I got a big Italian heritage, and my uncle made a joke about El Duce in a bar on his birthday. He said, you had to have a toast El Duce first. And he said, screw El Duce, it's my birthday, toast me first. And some people left the bar, and his friends in the bar said, we got to get you on the next train out of Italy because they're coming to get you and throw you in prison. So, and I'm like, I told my roommate, I said, you got a half hour to either take that poster down or I'm ripping it down. I don't want El Duce with the salute in my freaking dorm room, because, some of, Italian, some kind of nationalism go crazy, but people don't, Che Guevara. How many people has that guy killed? And college students are walking around with his, with his shirt, the Che shirt. And they had someone, the other day from Iran yelling at this, typical, liberal protesters saying, my family's all been in jail. I've been in jail. Women aren't free there. And you can see the look on her face. They've used assault as a weapon. I won't say what kind of assault. And you can see the look on her face drained, and kind of inspecting her thoughts and saying, "Oh my God, I guess I am on the wrong side here." Because she's like, this has nothing to do with a certain conflict in the Middle East that I won't mention, She's like, this is ran in our horrible tyrannical government we've had for 47 years. So it just doesn't make any sense. But I think it goes back to the control. They want control of every facet of society, every facet of your life, and they don't want freedom. It's the only thing I can think of. They don't want freedom. That's why it's so scary.
Yeah, but also like, there's something. Mark Ruffalo annoys me on so many levels. Like, he's just such an idiot. It's a combination of being an idiot, but somehow like a malicious jerk off idiot. I don't know how he managed. Who's not even a good actor. Like, or let's put it this way: he's an average actor. I don't think he's a fantastic actor. There's many actors that are better at acting than him. I'm not just saying this because I think his opinions are stupid. I think that genuinely he's just not all that. You know what I mean? He's okay.
Yeah.
And certainly not like the kind of guy that I'm like, wow, he's such a good actor that he can afford to go around and act like this. He certainly can't. He's not that good.
Yeah. No.
Hey, I'm gonna say I actually think he's better than average. When he first played Bruce Banner, I thought he was just very, very good in the role. But because he is so outspoken and loud, I find it impossible to separate his acting from his activism now. But there was a time when I would have put him far above average. But the thing is, nobody was afraid to sign that Kimmel petition, a few months ago. Like, we won't ever work for you again if you fire Kimmel. So, like, why are they suddenly afraid of backlash now when they all went ahead with that? And as far as there's a fear in Hollywood about being outspoken, how do you think the conservatives have felt for the last 20 years?
Yeah, and these talk show hosts are all making inferences to something I can't even say, as Bryce has said about the president. I mean, that's what they're getting in trouble for. They're not getting in trouble for, a tasteless joke or maybe a slip of a word that they shouldn't have said. They're getting in trouble for inferring the commander in chief. And that's, remember, I've always been very political, even though my typical show isn't. But I remember when Jimmy Carter was president, I called him an a-hole or something. My dad, and I was only like 8.
Yeah, we're still paying for his mistakes.
Yeah, but he wasn't. My dad said and my dad was from another country, so he was very proud the day he became a citizen. He really loved his country. I think sometimes foreigners maybe that become citizens sometimes maybe appreciate the USA more.
They absolutely do, because they've seen the alternative, right?
Yeah,
there's somebody that I know is from Ukraine, and they were born, around the time the Ukraine separated from Russia, and they grew up kind of learning about what that from their parents, like what it was like living in that situation, and they saw the situation they were living in as they were growing up, and then they moved to the U.S. and they're like, but basically I love Ukraine, I love the people, I am never going back.
Unfortunately, yeah. So I just want to finish my dad kind of yelled at me in a nice way. I was a young kid. He's like, you never ever say that about the president. He's like, he's the president of the United States, and you respect him. You don't insult him like that. You might not agree with him, but you don't insult him that way. And I always kind of kept that, the president should deserve some respect. And now it's just gone totally over the line. And I think that's one reason that did help Trump get reelected, I think, was going after him so much after he was out of office, with all the, dropping, when they got rid of the statute of limitations, just so they could go after him, and that, the clip.
They changed laws to prosecute Trump, and Obama has the nerve to talk about weaponizing the justice system. But
right.
Again, the fact is that they don't. Gina Carano made a joke and quoted from the Holocaust Museum itself, and they called her a Nazi.
It's the mustache.
Sorry.
You're gonna have to go. We're sending you to the gulag now, Ista.
yeah, strike. Yeah. Well, I can't untake that back. Sorry. I was so frustrated at their hypocrisy. They talk about they're afraid to speak out. I haven't noticed anybody afraid of speaking out, honestly. I've noticed some of them are finally shutting up. I wanted to toss out an apology to Six out there. I had offended her, and it wasn't my intention. So, quick apology there.
When it comes to, I mean, Jason Webster, he gave a $5 super chat. Price, I love the panel conversation on the late 70s Battlestar Galactica series pilot. Yes, we had that earlier, and the professor was there with us. One of my favorite shows. It was a very fun panel, and if you guys haven't watched it, you should definitely check it out. And then Eric Bana was better than Mark Ruffalo as Dr. Bruce Banner. Eric Bana in general is a better actor than Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah.
I think that I would argue that he's made some career decisions that may not have been good. Some of them maybe it was his fault. Maybe some of it wasn't his fault. But over the years, I've grown to appreciate that Eric Bana is actually a better actor than I initially gave him credit for. Recently, there was some kind of show called Untamed on Netflix where he's this kind of park ranger that he rides a horse and like solves a mystery. And you know what? I actually thought his performance was good in that. I looked at it and I said, you know what? This guy's a pretty good actor. And yeah, I absolutely. The problem with Eric Bana with his movie wasn't necessarily him. It was the movie. It was the fact that they gave Ang Lee, a guy who didn't know anything about comic books or how to make this movie, in charge. It was such a pompous and stupid thing to do, and it marked like the future of what Hollywood would be. It was basically quote unquote ahead of its time, that they're like, why don't we take this Chinese guy and let him do it? It's like the thing is, it's not because he's Chinese, because I want to clarify, he wasn't Chinese American. He wasn't a guy that, like, Chinese American that grew up reading these comics and understanding what it means. He was a guy that literally came from China, who was like the toast of China, and they brought him here. Probably the guy didn't even know English, and he's like, I'm going to direct their Incredible Hulk. That's what the movie looks like, because he looks like he doesn't know what he's doing, because he doesn't understand what it is that he's directing, and he doesn't even speak the language, and it looks like shit, in my opinion. So I don't think that was the fault of Eric Bana, but Eric Bana somehow caught the ricochet of the shit that came from Ang Lee.
Well, Eric Bana and Ed Norton are fantastic actors, but neither of them work very well with others, which is why they went a different way. I really thought the chemistry between Ruffalo and the rest of the Avengers was really good. I thought he was fantastic in the first movie. And Eric, is it Bana or Bana? I don't know. His career has also suffered from the same, he's very difficult to work with. Not just the decisions of some of the strange movies he's made, but that can be a problem in Hollywood. So I have no idea what the guy's politics are, and I like it that way. But I do know he's a little bit of a diva on the set, and causes a lot of friction. So, like I said, but actually, when you think about it, all three Hulks were really, really good actors.
Yeah, that first Hulk movie, I went with one of my really good friends, Brian, and he's got a pretty good case of OCD, God bless him. And he kept hitting me in the movie. He's like, are we in the right movie? When's the Hulk going to show up? He's like, you owe me for this one, big time. Like, what's going on here? Are you sure we're in the right movie? And then he was making a joke out of it, because the movie was so damn slow. He's like, when do we get to smash things, We still joke about it today.
When do we get to the fireworks factory?
I did love the casting in that first Hulk, man. I thought, Sam Elliott, Jennifer Connelly. But, he took some weird liberties with the comics and did the whole DNA father. Like, he went a bit weird way. But you know what? There's a movie in there that's not so bad. And I've watched it recently. It's not as bad as I remember, especially compared to what we've been getting.
I just it's not for me. I'll just say that. There's a couple of, the comic book element with the panels where he broke up the screen. I thought that was pretty good, but I didn't want to see the Hulk fighting poodles and the special effects. The CGI is just not. It's just it wasn't there yet. I mean,
but there were a couple
fault,
the way he was jumping across the desert, dude, at the time, that was incredible. I remember because the trailers had worse CGI and they managed to make it a little bit better for the movie premiered.
Yeah.
There were a couple things there that were just like, wow. Like, you know, because in the comics, the Hulk jumps like that and he does the 1, 2, 3, 4. But like I said, it was just a little, you know how they like try to make everything like a coincidence and interconnected now? It's like, ha ha ha, Zurg's not only your enemy, he's your father. And the woman you've trying to been rescued this whole time, she's your wife you thought was dead. And they just do that with everything. And that's what they did in Hulk. And it just made it feel very contrived. So I did think there was some value in that movie, and there was a better movie in there.
Yeah. The ending of Hulk was terrible. I hated the ending.
Yeah. It was a miss overall, but Ang Lee is a very talented director. He just wasn't the right guy.
Yeah, just not the right director for that movie.
I don't think he's right for anything he did in the United States. He was good at Crouching Dragon, Hidden Tiger, and that's the only kind of stuff he should be directing. I think that the second that he set foot on American soil, he only made a bunch of shit. Same thing with Brokeback Mountain, which I will still say until today was like kind of some kind of, how do I explain it? I feel I'm going to be careful here, but if it turned out that it wasn't a coincidence that this man came from China, the toast of China, to come here to do a movie about two cowboys that discover that they're into each other, that just seems very strange to me. You know what I mean? Like, he came here, they told him you could do as any movie you want, and he's like, great, get me a few cowboys.
Are you saying he was a kind of like a plant? Like he was.
There's something strange about it. It's almost like, it's, in a way I see it, and this is just my opinion, as a form of disrespect. You know what I mean? Like, if now I went to, I'll put it this way. Imagine today I'm going to China and they say, listen, we really like you and we want you to direct a movie in China here. We want to give you a budget. You can make it about whatever you want. And imagine I would take like two, I don't know what from the I do it about like
epic heroes from the Romance of the Three Kingdoms.
Let's
Wang
say
Yi and Cao Cao.
I'll put it this way. I'll say, okay, I'll do a movie about Emperor Hirohito, and then like I do a movie where he's fond of dudes. You know what I mean? Like, you think that in China they're going to sit around and say this is so great? You really
they actually
so much respect you've shown us here.
No, they would, because Hirohito's Japanese.
Yeah, I was going to say,
they're Japanese. They would love that. But I see your point. Like,
I apologize. I didn't.
But if they did go back,
what I'm trying to say. Sorry,
if they made
the Ming Dynasty, okay, whatever the fuck you want.
If you went back to the Romance of the Three Kingdoms and you had Cao Cao,
sorry, I apologize.
being.
I just want to say something. That's very embarrassing. Obviously, Emperor Hirohito, Japan, World War II, completely different thing. I was trying to say an emperor because there must have been an emperor of China. It is a late hour and my wires got crossed, so I admit that like it was a stupid thing to say. But I do know, like I am knowledgeable, and it was a dumb thing to say. So I apologize.
Yeah. If you went back and made a movie with Cao Cao and Zhao Dun getting it on, there would be some very angry Chinese people.
Like Hua Mulan and Yu Fei and Sun Wukong, the Monkey King. Those are sort of their epic heroes, like from their,
okay.
philosophy.
I know what to do. I know how to explain this better than I explained it. I arrive in China. They say, you're the best. We want to give you all the money you want. You can make any movie you want. And I'll say, okay, I want to make a movie about two kung fu masters. Okay. They go out on a journey, but in the middle, they discover that instead of fighting, they want to bang each other. What do you think that those Chinese people are going to say? That will be the end. They would lose their shit if that happened.
Yeah,
Only
a
vice
chance to make
versa.
it. It wouldn't appear. It wouldn't be
Only
screened,
vice
yeah.
versa. This guy could arrive in the U.S. in a similar scenario, and he'd be like, "Bring me
Yeah.
some cowboys," and they like to bang each other. You could say whatever you want. You could say and the thing is, already probably countries like China and things like that realize the whole kind of woke thing that was brewing. You know what I mean? The political correctness that he would make a movie like this, and instead of saying, "Hey, this is disrespectful," he would get an Oscar, and all these people would kiss his ass. Once they saw that, they knew that they could go a lot further. Do you get what I'm saying? That was probably an early testing of the waters. And once you see something like that, you're like, we can get away with anything.
Yeah, well, China loves corrupting the West because they believe that foments political instability. So, I mean, that's why you can go to Chinese websites and do all sorts of AI, but you can't do that if you're actually in China. So, no, I totally get that. But also that's just Hollywood. They've been loving that lightly toe step. They've been loving the sassy stuff for a long time. So it might have just been it might have even been someone in Hollywood. Hey, you know that cowboy movie you wanted to do? It would be really cool if you made them into each other, you know, I don't know, but I do know China spends a lot of money sort of, trying to destabilize, as do the Russians. But in this particular case, it could have easily have been Hollywood's idea. Like, what about, I never saw it, but The Shape of Water isn't like a woman screwing a fish or something?
That's a remake of The Creature of the Black Lagoon.
But with screwing, right? Like that.
Well, they added that, but
yeah. So I mean, that
was controversial. But he was a fish man. Yeah. He identified as a man during that moment. So.
Oh, okay. But yeah, cowboys are sort of associated with America. Those are some of our heroes, and I can see that being a little more offensive than just the milking farm kind of stuff. Which that whole genre is weird.
The thing about our
anyway.
country is how free we are, though. You know, even though you might not, offhand like it, and maybe there is something going on behind the scenes. That's our strength and our weakness. Together. Yeah. But I mean, in China, you probably can't. You can't make the movie you want without government approval. And for years, we were chasing the Chinese market, and Disney apologized. Profusely when Richard Gere made his movie about Tibet. Tibet has kind of gone quiet now. We don't really hear about Tibet that much anymore. I wonder why.
Look at John Cena. Look what he had to do. And even Tom Cruise had to apologize for having a flag on a 30-year-old jacket.
They finally put the Taiwanese flag back on that jacket for the movie, I believe. But there was a big controversy about that. But that's, we're free here, and you should be able to say whatever you like, right? If you don't like Billie Eilish's music or you like it, that's the great thing about our country. You can do that stuff. I don't think I've ever heard a Billie Eilish song, to be honest. But I can see where that's when it's all going one way or one-sided, it seems like it's a conspiracy. But it's basically I think you have a group of people that are in their same echo chamber that all think the same way, and it's almost like the famous reporter for the New York Times, forget her name, said, "How did Richard Nixon win the election? I've never talked to a person that actually voted for Richard Nixon."
Yeah. Well, I have no problem with a movie with two cowboys that really like each other, that little bit special extra, but it winning all of the awards, that was just like, no, man, nobody saw that. That's the part that annoys me.
I've never seen the movie. So
like Amelia Perez.
Is it objectively a good or bad movie? Like, is anyone that's seen it? I mean, other than the cowboy controversy, but is it like an enjoyable movie to watch?
There's cowboys. No,
I mean, is it a good? If you take the intimacy out, was it a good movie? That's what
No, like all it was the message, the agenda. So how could it have been good? Because they can't have good stories, because good stories mean conflict, and you're not allowed to have conflict when you're doing the message.
Does anyone remember the movie?
No, I haven't seen it.
The Crying Game.
Crying
Yeah,
Game.
that's a
Oh,
shitty
geez.
movie.
So that movie, my wife's like, we've got to go see this. I want to go see this. I said, yeah, all right, I'll go, but you have to watch any movie that I pick after, you know. So then I picked Outlaw Josie Wales. I'm thinking and she ended up loving the movie. It's like, damn it, I should have picked something, you know, that she really wanted to like.
But wait a minute, where did you see The Crying Game? Like that played in the theater a really long time ago.
Yeah, that was like early 90s.
That was early 90s. Yeah. I've been married 31 years now.
Wow.
32.
Okay, I didn't know you were married that long. That's congratulations. And
it seems just like yesterday.
Yeah, but when was Outlaw Josie Wales in theaters?
No, I just said you have to pick any movie, and you have to agree to watch any movie I pick.
You have to come home and watch The Godfather with me. Is what you have to do.
The part that I didn't understand, and I feel bad that I'm getting into this, but the part that I didn't understand about The Crying Game is how he didn't realize that it wasn't a woman.
We were supposed to be sold on the idea that you couldn't tell until he got naked, but that didn't really play.
But wait, I thought that they had already spent the.
They had been together. Yes, they had. Yeah,
I felt that something had already happened between them, and in that case, if he didn't realize it then, there's something mentally.
No, wasn't that
wrong
just
with the guy if he didn't realize it by then? You know,
wasn't that just like third base stuff? And maybe I don't want to like. I don't think their previous encounters ever reached that particular area.
I don't know,
right?
Mark knows what I'm saying. It seemed like he should have known at that point. Correct?
It was dark.
They were together. They were together.
There's nothing you can explain to me. I don't care how dark it was. That at some point you should have noticed. There's something about that movie. It's a plot hole. I actually when
that was the only hole, right?
I actually. I actually didn't know what I was getting into when I watched that movie all those years ago. I heard people were talking about it, and then I didn't go to the theater to watch it. I'm thankful for that, but I think it was on TV or something. I'm like, oh, okay. I really didn't realize what movie this was, and then I was watching it, and I wonder if I even reached the end of the movie. I think that part where like he discovers it and there's the plot hole, that may have been it for me. I think I said to myself, you know what? I don't really know what this movie is, but I feel like it probably wasn't made for me.
I do remember some parts of the movie being, pretty intense. It wasn't really my thing if you took that other stuff out, but it seems so irrelevant and just for shock value. Like the point of it was really, the conflict, the troubles as they call them, and that was good. I don't know why they felt the need to put that stuff in there, but like Hollywood's been like that for a really, 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 really long time. So, they like that stuff, but now I'm trying to Google to find out how he didn't know.
So
you can Google it. Yes.
Well, I had AI give me a summary.
Oh, okay.
But here's what I asked of the AI, by the way. I said, how did the dude not know that chick was really a dude in The Crying Game?
Okay.
What did it answer?
It says he did not know because they did not consummate sex.
Okay. See, I was right.
They flirted, and kissed, and there was foreplay.
Yeah.
However, there was not any explicit sex, and then, of course, the character of Fergus is played as being extremely naive.
Oh, that's what I meant by third base foreplay. That's what I was trying to say.
And so that the revelation comes when they are getting to the deed, and drops his pants and sees that there's a penis. I have never seen this movie. I have no idea. So I
don't think I finished the movie, but I do know exactly. For some reason, I thought that they had already done something. Maybe I'm wrong. I haven't seen that movie in many years.
Too.
I got a different answer from Brock, though.
What
does Brock say?
Brock said he was very good at tucking.
I thought they had a scene where they were together.
I thought
Pretty
so
intimate.
too.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go watch it again now.
I'm never watching that movie.
No
Okay.
thanks.
But that at least was an interesting movie. There was a lot of stuff going on in that movie, and then yes, it's got that reveal. But it was an interesting, it's dealing with the IRA and the prisoner exchange there, and it was interesting. But not that I would I haven't watched it since then, but it's it's one of those that was a huge deal when that broke. I mean,
Yeah, I got a quick, I'm just going to say this. So I was in a band once, and the guy fronting for us was a cross-dresser. Like, he wasn't, trans, and he wasn't even gay, but he did the cross-dressing thing that was for, and we're like, what do you do with it? He gave us a demonstration once, and I do have to say, we were all like, where is it? Holy shit. Like, there really is a method of tucking that you can actually not have any clothes on, and you can make that look like it's not there. It's
so
a lot
you're an
of
expert at tuck and roll, Istafobos?
Well, I've seen an expert at, but he described it. It's something you have to practice, and it can be painful. But yeah, we're just sitting there looking right at him, and it just looked like, there wasn't actually I'm saying, yeah, you can make it disappear, and it's really freaky to see. That's what I'm trying to say.
If I wanted to disappear, all I have to do is see Billie Eilish.
Yeah, well,
I think that this conversation is going in a very strange direction, guys.
Yes. You never know what you'll get.
You brought up Brokeback Mountain, man. That's where you. That's gonna take.
I'm
to
still
some
trying.
strange-
I'm still trying to recover from my Hirohito mistake.
I don't know how to quit you.
But I did bounce back with the kung fu idea that I think
that's a good one.
Good idea. Yeah.
Okay, can I ask? And I do apologize. I know we're not supposed to, and sorry I let it out. But if we were going to describe a particular kind of museum, what would be? How would we?
I don't know. I steer away from anything and especially these days. So I don't say stuff like that. I mean, if you listen to our streams, we don't say that.
Oh yeah, so you don't even say like watermelon people anymore?
No, we'll say like watermelon people, but that's because that they put emojis of watermelon in their
tasteful euphemisms.
Well, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah,
what we say is that they're watermelon enthusiasts.
Oh, that's right.
Yes,
that's right.
yes.
You already changed it. Watermelon people is bad. That's not what we say. We say watermelon enthusiasts.
Yeah. Oh, that's
I'm very confused right now.
What would be the euphemism for? That's what I asked. Do we, or just better not bring it up? Okay.
Better not bring it up. It's better to steer away from it. At best, you say mustache man, and we move on, or whatever it is.
Let's all steer away straight right now.
Yes.
Yeah. My point was, what Gina said was very innocuous, and she literally lost her career, got crucified. There was a paid bot campaign, and the biggest movie studio in Hollywood made it their mission to destroy her life. And all she said was, we should be better to one another. And then
that maybe demonizing each other isn't maybe the best way to actually be friends and tolerate each other. Yeah.
Yes, and it turned out the quote that they gave her all the problems for was from their own team. So that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I've said it before, and I think that there were a few things going on. They were sitting around and waiting for her to do something that would be considered a misstep. There was no real reason to post that. It's not that she can't post it. I know that there's a lot of idiots in Hollywood that say idiotic things and stupid things that, she's allowed to put that up there. When I think of stuff like Mark Ruffalo or Hamill, like I said, much worse, a lot of these people, stuff that they've said and done. Same with Pedro Pascal, who used imagery that has to do with mustache men and did it in a way that's malicious. Nobody said anything to him. So there's the double standard there and the hypocrisy. With all of that being said, she didn't have to post that because I think that it didn't help her in any way. I think that she accomplished really nothing by posting that. It didn't help her in any way. And sometimes the fact that you think that, you could post something, it doesn't always mean you should. You know what I mean? Like, if she had called me prior and said, "Hey, do you think I should post that?" I would have told her, "No, you probably not a good idea." But with all that being said, I still don't think she deserved to get
Oh, yeah.
the treatment that she got. It's just my personal opinion. I wouldn't have posted because I think it doesn't help her in any way. But at the same time, once she needed to be treated like everybody else is, and that's obviously not what happened with her.
Yeah, and that's not even what got her in trouble. So what I've heard is that she had to fill out a field in her bio, and the thing she posted didn't help her. But I don't think that what got her in trouble is, first, she didn't want to fill out a field in her bio, and then when she finally did, she did not use any of these 6 approved words to put in your bio. Am I being clear?
I mean, they wanted to take control of her and explain to her what her opinions are, which they should never do. The fact that she may have opinions that they don't agree with, it means that they just have to understand that there's people that don't agree with their stupid opinions, which are stupid most of the time. So they don't need everybody to agree with their shit. But at the same time, I think that, if you ask me, I think that initially the beep bop boop, while I thought it was funny, again, you have to, at the end, have to say to yourself, who am I? What's my goal? What am I trying to accomplish? If I was like an actor and I wanted to collect checks and I wanted to, get paid, I'd probably say to myself, I'm just going to collect my checks. I'm not going to talk about politics one way or another. I'm just going to collect my checks and do as the best job that I can, and that's what I'm going to focus on. And if you tell me I'm working in a sort of hostile environment where everybody has a different opinion than me, and I still want those checks and I want that work, I'm just going to keep my thoughts to myself and just do whatever it is that I do. Now, of course, that doesn't mean that they should make me think things that they think, and I'm not going to bow down and say whatever they're saying, but I would mind my own business, kind of like Chris Pratt. That's probably the approach. I would take the Chris Pratt approach. Not that I think it's fair that Chris Pratt can't speak his mind versus Ruffalo or Hamill, but to be honest, I would have preferred that all those people didn't speak their mind. I don't need to hear any of their shit. I don't really give a shit one way or another. Just act and do your acting, and that's all I really care about. So if you ask me what I would have done, that I would have been more Chris Pratt. She
didn't have that option. She had to put something there. It wasn't like she just couldn't put nothing. So what would you have done? Would you have succumbed to the approved language? Would you have not put anything there, or would you have tried to do a joke? Because inaction on her part was not acceptable at the moment. And you could say there were some dual standard. Chris Pratt's a man. She was suing for the whole gender thing.
I tend to disagree with you on one thing. Now, here's the thing. If I was minding my own business, didn't talk politics, didn't do anything, and I got a call from the head of the studio, said, "Hey, sure it would be nice if you put like some extra pronouns in your thing." At that point, I would just say, I don't really put that stuff in my bio. Thank you, and hang up. Now, that would be something that I just mind my own business and do my own thing. No matter what this person would say, no matter what would happen, I would just continue about my business and do my thing. Now, if at some point I'm losing my job because I didn't put those in there, then I think that I bring a ton of lawyers, and those people would be in real trouble because you can't force somebody to do that. Her doing the beep bop boop wasn't somebody that forced her. It's her. I thought that at the time, from what I recall, I actually remember this very differently, Ista. What happened was that Pedro Pascal, who had a sibling that was more than meets the eye. So he had a sibling, and then he wanted to show what a great ally he was because his sibling was more than meets the eye. So he put pronouns in his bio. Now, it's fine if that's what he wants to do. It's a free country, I guess. He could do it. But then what happened was that people that are, fans of stands of Pedro Pascal and his activism, which were like the 5 people that like the Acolyte or whatever it is, they kept on trying to bully Gina Carano, and they kept on posting, "Oh, you terrible person," writing awful things to her. Why didn't you put pronouns in your bio? Why didn't you put pronouns in your bio? And they were being really pushy and mean about it. Now, if you ask me, if I'm a person that's making a good amount of money on, being at the time on a really hit show that everybody's watching, I'm not getting involved with these weirdos online. I just fuck them. You know what I mean? Like, and they can say whatever the fuck they want. I'm dealing with my own thing, collecting my checks and minding my own business. And she has a right to do that, but I'm just saying she decided that she wanted to go like toe to toe with them. Maybe it's her fighter mentality, and she's like, "Oh, that's what you want me to do? Well, here's my pronouns." And then she wrote like beep bop boop. So it was more like a middle finger to these people that were writing the worst things about her. Do I think that they deserved any kind of anything for, do they deserve a reward for being shitty people that were harassing and bothering her? Obviously not. Should she have been harassed and bothered? Obviously not. But it is online. You are, in a show that millions and millions of people are watching. There's always going to be some shitty people there. And if I were her, I wouldn't have done anything. I would have just minded my own business and moved forward. Once she put those pronoun things, the beep bop boop, then she was on the radar of Lucasfilm. First of all, what they wanted her to do was to apologize, and they wanted her to do like a Zoom call with 50 other LG people, activists, where she apologizes, does a mea culpa, and they explain to her that she's dumb and they hate her. And I think that at this point she's like, I don't really like this. I don't want any of this. I think maybe she removed the beep bop boop and put a candle there, and then she just said like, I'm just going to mind my own business. On the surface, it seemed to blow over, but underneath the surface, that's when the clock started ticking, because really what had happened then is the idea in the top execs, probably including Kennedy and all those people around her, those weirdos like Hidalgo. This is me speculating, more than speculating, but speculating just for the record. This is what we do at Price of Reason Studios. So basically what happened at this point is that they were watching out like hawks. Anything she can do at this point where they can get rid of her. Keep in mind, Luke Skywalker comes back. The Mandalorian is a hit. They're making Kathleen Kennedy look like an idiot with her sequels. Everything is going against those Hidalgo and Kennedy and her weird lackeys. Everything is going against them. And they're waiting. They need something. They need something to knock down this thing that Favreau is doing. They need something to ruin it. And then they got it. She put that post with the quote. Now, I understand that she didn't mean anything bad. I really think she's a nice lady. I really don't think she meant anything bad by it. But when you have a group of hounds, like wolves, hyenas, whatever you want to call it, sitting around with knives, and you give them something like that, that's like, you're playing into their hand. You know what I mean? So,
but the court filing said that those initial people bullying her were actually working for Kathleen Kennedy, and she was already on the radar, and they were already coming after her. These weren't random people.
They were first waiting. Of all, prior to the whole pronoun situation, they were already annoyed and bitter that Favreau brought this quote-unquote strong woman that was doing well. So anything she would have done would have been an issue for them. Once they got her on the pronouns, they did everything. Like what you said, Esther, with all this shit in the background, they did everything. They tried to push her out, but they saw that they couldn't do it, and it would have been too much of a scandal. So they sat there patiently and said, if we can just wait, if she can just make one more mistake, and that's it, she's done. We're just going to wait for that mistake. So if you want to know
they wanted her gone before any of that started, and her days were numbered.
Obviously, they wanted her gone already months earlier. But the thing is that even they understood that they're going to need quote-unquote cause. So in their opinion, once that thing came along, they quickly acted thinking that's their cause. And I'm going to tell you another thing. When that thing happened, that day that she posted it, when I saw the post early on, I told a few people, I'm going to be careful here. I told some people, how do I explain this? Within closed DM groups of some people that, some people I know, I'm not going to get into names or things like that.
Eggplants?
I explained at that moment to some people that were in some groups with me that could be the mistake that costs her job. I said it early on. I said this could be it. This could be the thing where they fire her. I said people are making phone calls right now. Right now, lawyers are talking to people, agents and managers. I said this, I wouldn't show you, there's no tweet I can show you like in a lot of stuff that I do, but I do, and I'm not going to share DMs, of course, but I did tell some acquaintances of mine within our field, if you want to call it, that this is a mistake that's going to end likely with her getting fired. And there were a few that are like, ha, ha, ha.
No,
like,
I believe you.
Like, really kind of saying, like I'm an idiot. And I'm like, no, you don't understand how this works. And I actually, for whatever, I'm not saying I'm the king of Hollywood, but for whatever business I did in this field, I knew how this is going down. I already realized what was going on before that, but I knew this was it. They were going to take this now.
Yep.
People are calling each other. She's going to get fired. And by the end of the day, she was 100%. The whole thing happened the way I said it would. And all those people that like made it seem like I'm an idiot had nothing more to say. You know what I mean? Like I called it 100%. Now, back to Gina Carano. Do I think she did anything bad with the pronouns or with this meme? I don't think she did anything bad. She seems like a nice lady. I don't think she had any malicious thoughts. I don't think she was doing something against anybody. But if you're in a situation that people are trying to push you out in 70 different ways, you also don't want to gift them with such such a thing.
Yeah, I agree, but I think she was naive and didn't realize it. In fact, Favreau was about telling her, you might get your own show. I don't think she had any idea of the powers that were arrayed against her. Also, don't you mean you're not going to share any DMs on purpose?
Yeah. Uh-huh. They might just accidentally.
Yeah. Was this the eggplant group? Do you remember? Or is that the right one? You remember your story about the DM group where everybody left and it was just you?
No,
and
it wasn't that one.
Okay, that was. Yeah. Do you know her family? You know what her dad owns? Her dad owns El Dorado Resorts, which owns a majority stake in Caesars Entertainment. His net worth is $750 million.
I thought it was her uncle, but it doesn't matter one way or another. The bottom line is that, or his father is probably also rich. Nothing really matters here. I think that regardless of her family's wealth or anything like that, I still think that when you want to be an actress on like popular shows and you want to be like a consensus household name for like the mainstream for all people and everybody to like you, sometimes it's better to just keep your politics out of it to begin with. I would say this to a Democrat or a Republican. At the end of the day, the only reason I was really rooting for Gina, like the main reason is, well, a few reasons. One, I didn't think she did anything malicious, and I think to say that they overreacted was an understatement. The other thing is that I refuse to accept this double standard where these other people are saying things much worse than her, and they're all embracing them and kissing their ass. But when she says something that they don't like, it's the end of the world for them. This kind of hypocrisy and double standard, I was 100% against, which is why I was in her corner. From the first second, I was in her corner. But with all of that being said, still, if she was a friend of mine and she had called me in advance and said, hey, I'm looking for a strategy. Even more than that, I've told you before that I've been like a representative for talent. I've been in a situation that I've even managed some talent. Again, I'm not like the main person in Hollywood. Don't look at me as some very important guy, but I'm saying I've been in situations like this. If somebody asked me, I would tell them. And I've been in a situation like this. I've told people that I work with, don't do any of this weird shit. Don't do all this kind of political stuff. I've said that to people before. If I was her manager, I would have told her, don't do any of this. Do you like Star Wars? Do you like being in this Mandalorian thing? Don't post any of this shit. Don't go online. Don't do anything. Focus on your acting. Focus on the work and leave all of this shit alone. Don't answer weird trolls. Just leave it alone. That's what I would have told her.
I have a question for you.
Yes, people are saying she'd beat me up. You know what? It's fine. Actually, it kind of sounds cool.
No, I have a serious question. Okay, one of the largest law firms in Nevada is the McDonald Carano law firm, started by her uncle, her father's brother. Okay. And they are worth $750 million. Why did she need Elon's help to pursue legal action?
I'm not 100% sure. Maybe she didn't want to involve them in this. Maybe she didn't want to involve that. You've started involving them in the lawsuit. Maybe it hurts their business. I don't really know what her. I can't say what I think her thought process was. Maybe she's also a person, she doesn't want to take her family's money. Maybe she's a person that wants to do something on her own. She had her own career. She was a fighter. Whatever money she made, it's her money. Maybe she doesn't want to ask for favors. I don't know what her relationship is with other people that may and may not be able to help her. So I can't really judge. Even if somebody has a rich uncle, it doesn't mean that she's rich.
But almost like the law firm. But I was on her side for all your reasons. But my main thing is I wanted Disney to get dragged into Discovery because they have managed to avoid that for half a century. And I wanted to see that.
Well, that's why they finally settled, right? So Disney made some, they didn't want to go to Discovery, right? That's and they would have lost too
Yeah,
because of the double standard. But I don't think Gina wanted to put herself through the horrors of a trial and all the publicity. And I think she kind of got her point. She got 80% of what she wanted.
Yeah.
But I mean, lawsuits, if you've ever been involved in one, it's a nightmare, right? Even if you think you're 100% right and you're going to win, it is very draining. And then she would have had to testify, and it takes up all the time in your life. And then she's going to be fighting in a couple weeks, the big fight. And but she did take a downturn. She gained 40 or 50 pounds, and now she seems on the rebound, thank God. And
but she, I mean, that fight wasn't planned for, like I'm saying, is just sort of an odd, like when the lawsuit was going on, the fight wasn't planned, and I was disappointed she didn't take Disney to Discovery, and I was surprised as soon as the trial was moving forward. Everyone expected Disney to call a settlement conference, and they didn't. They waited a very long time until Discovery was about to start, and that was just a weird. I don't know if it's part of their strategy or whatever, but everybody suspected Disney would never allow it to go to Discovery, but I don't know what their strategy was in letting it run out so long. I don't know.
Oh, you mean the waiting to settle, or the?
Yeah. When they tried to get the lawsuit dismissed, when they didn't, then he called Discovery, but they waited was it 9 months before they even offered to settle, and it was I don't know what the intervening 9 months was supposed to mean and what was supposed to happen.
Yeah, when you've got deep pockets, you can wait.
Yeah. And somebody says how much this has been something that even Ista and I have disagreed with. How much did Gina get paid in the settlement, though? According to Ista, she made $5, but I think she made tens of millions of dollars at minimum. I think she probably made a good payday.
Yeah, there's some people in Hollywood that said it would have been no more than 10 million. Even I think Scarlett Johansson only got 40, and she had them dead to rights. So,
I mean, the thing is, though, there is one thing. Scarlett Johansson had them dead to rights in the terms of they signed a contract and they didn't honor it. And in that case, that is a bad situation to be in. And this was really making them look bad, too. And she's a woman. And in her case, there was no controversy beyond that, aside from the fact that they seemingly screwed her over, even though they signed a contract with her. So that's why they ended up paying her a lot of money. And it is what it is. In the case of Gina Carano, there was something else on the line. So much stuff was happening with Disney. Trump came in. They had a beef with Elon Musk. There was so much stuff that wasn't good. And as long as, for the longest time, they were just trying to get rid of the case and make it go away. The second that all of that failed and the judge said, okay, now we're going to Discovery, suddenly, shortly after, there was a settlement. And I can understand why. Imagine you start Discovery. Imagine you get these emails and Kathleen Kennedy and all this weird shit. This would have been, in my opinion, an unprecedented disaster. Far beyond,
without a doubt.
Far beyond the 40 million with Scarlett Johansson and anything sitting around there. Imagine, it was my dream. It was my dream that they have that kind of trial that Kathleen Kennedy sits and they do with lawyers. Yeah. Everybody was hoping that would have been the best day ever.
Oh, it would have been awesome.
Yeah. Well, so it was explained to me that's why she got the concession she got. Had they paid her tons of money, then they wouldn't have gotten the half-assed apology, and they wouldn't have gotten the commitment to give her several projects going forward. Since she's already rich and she doesn't need the money, that's what was in lieu of a larger dollar payment was their commitment to do, what was it, 2 full-length projects with her minimum, and to kind of apologize, not really, but to make the announcement, we look forward to working with Gina in the future, blah blah blah. That's a lawyer's apology. So if they were just going to pay her loads of money, she wouldn't have gotten any of that other stuff, and that was mostly what she wanted, because the lawsuit, the cash value of her lawsuit was small. Wasn't it $70,000 or something ridiculous? She wanted to be reinstated and she wanted to get her career back, and essentially as much as they could, that's what they gave her. So they didn't need to give her money.
No, I disagree with you. The 70 thing was all bullshit. Once you do a settlement like this with the type of lawyers that Elon Musk brought and the discovery thing, there was enough on the line for her to get at minimum, in my opinion, tens of millions of dollars.
We are never going to get to know that.
I mean, the truth is we can't because we're not her.
Yeah.
But I think that I would think that this would have to cost somebody tens of millions of dollars because the damage of those emails and Kathleen Kennedy on the stand could have been something that like far beyond anything that we can comprehend.
Right.
Which is sad that we.
Yeah, that's why I was so hoping it would go to Discovery, but
oh yeah, that was going to be an absolute gold.
But if they
and Blake and
yeah,
what's her name?
But if they had given her tens of millions of dollars, they wouldn't have had to give her the career concessions. Because that's not part of a normal legal, like no jury can.
They haven't given her shit yet. She hasn't done one thing.
Right. But she does have a commitment to be in a certain number of projects.
And I'll believe it when I see it. If she's in a few big projects, they'll say, you know what, is to maybe you had something. Until now, I don't see shit. I don't see her being filmed for anything. I don't see her doing anything. Unless I see a movie that she's the star of, and then like, it's a big movie with probably a decent salary, then I'll say, okay, maybe that's part of the deal. But if it's like her not doing anything, all we got is like right before The Mandalorian comes out, conveniently, the press is saying that she said that she talked to like Favreau after that whole situation. Who gives a shit? That was everything they're doing is just trying to make The Mandalorian and Grogu seem like a movie that people want to see. They're trying to say like, oh, well, decanonize the sequel trilogy. Oh, Gina Carano spoke with Jon Favreau.
Oh, yeah.
Bullshit.
Gina Carano might be in it. Maybe you should show up.
Yeah. No, well, if I were her, I wouldn't want to be in that sinking ship.
She's not. She is not in that movie.
Yeah. I am. Don't you remember they said that they had made? I don't know. Now I'm looking and trying to find it. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I guess if one of us ever meets her and she gets really drunk, we might find out what the number is. But.
Well, I mean, we can. I don't know if that I'd ask her. It's a private thing. She agreed to whatever she agreed, and that's fine. I mean, like I said, we can all speculate, but we don't really know. Until now, I haven't seen that they've given her any projects or done anything. Yes, they made that thing where they said, "Oh, well, we look forward to working or blah blah, exploring things in the future." But they again, nothing has happened yet. Now, let's see what happens if that Mandalorian Grogu movie has her in it in some kind of cameo.
Surprise.
Even then, I mean, that's not a big deal. That's nothing. That's not a project.
Yeah. But the thing is, Disney blacklisted her for, essentially in all of Hollywood, and by retracting that, she has a chance to do something. I don't know what the dollar value in that is worth. I honestly don't.
I don't know, man. I think it's all they made her agent and manager fire her. They like tried to they basically humiliated her. I don't know. I mean, if all after all of that, all I would get is like $3 and them saying, well, maybe she's not as bad as we said. That's not going to cut it for me. You know what I mean? And and if her family even, I don't even care about her family. She herself from her fighting career has money. So just from her fighting career, she has enough money that if I were her, I would say, no, fuck that. Like, no, they're going to pay for this. And I would make them pay.
If it was me, I wouldn't have dropped the lawsuit for $1 billion freaking dollars. I would have gone to the mat, even if I knew it was going to be the end of me. Just a chance to do that to the mouse. I wouldn't have given up for nothing. But I'm old.
By the way,
so.
I hope that she doesn't return to the Mandalorian, all this shit. Like, who cares now? It's so late now. When now they're gonna do it? It's too little, too late. Who cares now? If I were her, I wouldn't do any of that personally. But can't tell her what to do. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. So it just says no admission of wrongdoing. A spokesperson for Lucasfilm said we are looking forward to identifying opportunities to work together and a recognition from Lucasfilm in writing that she was always well respected by her directors, co-stars, and staff. It's funny because she didn't talk to Pedro anymore at all.
Let's. I agree with you, and I just noticed we're already kind of running towards the end of the stream here. Professor,
okay.
there's some people we have to do shout outs to.
Absolutely. Give me just a second to get those all together for you.
Time flies when you're having fun, right?
Indeed.
But it's going to be interesting to see what happens to the fight that Gina's with Ronda Rousey. That's going to be.
I'm totally on Gina's side. I hope she wins.
Me too.
So on Rumble, we have Phantom Monk, Noel 2024, Istaphobos, One Dirty Bird, Joe Higachi, Angelo DD, Reacham 842, Darren Mai, Deeple 101, Dude Bro Seth 420, Argentum, Double R Star, Folsom Lockdown, God Bless 5697, Dispoetic Mark D with a C, Gaming Stuff, Born to Be Down, Twitch, Timfin34, Jacko Boom, Argentum. Thank you so much.
Yes.
And
several
Phantom
people
Monk, I'm going
hopping
to
in
send
on
you a message now on Rumble,
other
so
stuff.
pay attention.
Yep. Let me see here. Yeah. Well, if it's gonna cooperate. There we go. All right. Come on. All right. Man, I want that new computer to show up.
Computer. Very slow.
need that ultimate M5 to really start getting stuff done. Pete Roble, Ghost Fixer, Samsung, Ace Hanlon, Zune RJ5, FKHC 2005, Angry Sparrow, Gabispin 13, Rogue's Backstory, Piku, Shannon K, Jason Love, Doctor Who, Psy for Chaos, Echo 32, Echo 7. Gandalf identifies as white. It's a good name. Marla Sherendorf, Scottish Celts, Sagacious 6, Lucy Meow, Keely Chow, Trev Toon Art, Ilord Corey, Murrockstro, Mark S47, Captain Palsy, Tim Hayes, Fishbulb, Yitus, Gavin Unit, Tomahawk 511, Darren M, Big Sur River, Ron Donafaro, Jonathan Conroy, Sturgeon, Mark D with a C, Estephobos, Kodo Rob, Caleb Levine, Badfoot, Strugun, and Jason Webster. And of course, yes, we did get some support this evening. Got some gifted memberships from Jonathan Conroy, and we also got a super chat from Jason Webster. So thank you so much for that support this evening. Hello?
Yep, I was going to say.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if
Price was busy.
Phantom Monk, did you see my my message? I don't know if you did. In any case,
we also had Antiderivative Jill has hopped in and is joining us over on Rumble. Hey there, Jill.
All right.
Phantom Monk, I put a message here for you. I even highlighted it. Hopefully you saw it. Because I want to do raids. I think it's good if I do them, but I don't know. Okay, cool. Yeah, you saw it.
Yeah.
Oh, especially at this time of night. Who's going on?
No, it's some DJ that's playing music or something.
Okay.
Billie Eilish music?
Yeah, I can only hope.
Yeah, we want to do some raids. So we just want to be careful who it is we're raiding.
Right.
Too,
There's a lot of reasoning behind it. I was talking to Phantom Monk earlier about it. And Phantom Monk's a mod here, so that's why he's helping me with it. But yeah, thanks for everybody for hanging out with us. I feel like I was in a grumpy mood more than usual today. Sorry about that. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I want to thank our guest, Professor. Obviously, thank you for being here as always. And both Ista and Mark with D with a C. Thank you for hanging out with us as well.
Thank you. Lots of fun.
Yeah,
Lots of
and
fun. I
again,
didn't think you were
sorry
too
about the
grumpy.
whole enthusiast problem there.
Well,
No worry about it. No worries.
all right. Okay. Well, we'll see you guys next time. Today is Thursday, so we'll see you here on Tuesday on the Night Owl every Tuesday and Thursday, 11:45 p.m. Eastern.
Take care,
Good
everyone.
morning. Good night.
Wait, did they do the raid properly? Is it rating?
Hold
Did
on,
you
we're
thank
working on it.
Did you shout out Kick and Twitch and locals?
We don't know who's on any of those.
We don't know who the local is or
Oh,
Twitch.
okay.
I don't even know if anybody's watching on Kick either. But again, we just started streaming there. Rumble, and YouTube. We always are grateful for the people hanging out here. Hopefully, do you think this is going to raid now?
We're working on it.
I just went there. Yep.
It's raiding.
No, I mean I had to manually put the link in, but I don't know if it went there automatic. Can you do an automatic on Rumble?
How do we know if it worked?
Well, someone type in raid, I guess, on the.
It should. You should get a message in the chat saying you're about to be,
there it is.
forwarded to. Yeah,
It worked.
I think we got it. Yep.
Okay, great. Well, see you guys.
We
next
figured
time.
it out.
It worked.
Okay.
Yeah, you gotta do the / first,
Oh.
and then the command for raid, and then So yeah.
There we
Yes.
go.
Oh, and
See,
so
and Andy Derivative Jill was all over it. She knew exactly what we needed to do. We're just too stupid to figure it out.
thank you,
subscribe to
Joe.
Mark D with a C and to Istophobos on X, and visit Mark D with a C. He's on Rumble and he's on YouTube. So check out what they're doing.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good night.
Take care, everybody.
Yeah.